brain immediately jumps to TCP debugging, and I'm like, fuck, no, I'm not at work right now. Stop it.
Layer 7, baby.
And we're live.
Layer 8 is Linux Gamecast.
Nah, baby, we're like layer 3.
Yeah, we run on layer 3.
We're network level, we're IP.
We don't have a license for layer 7, man. That's too high class.
IPX, SPX.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We're wrapping up a pre-super shows where we were talking about layers and motherboards, putting them in the ovens. Then a ghost visited Pedro's apartment. He got up and walked around, cast a spell, chased it out, fixed the curtain. It was great. It was a fun time. And most of that is probably not true, but it did happen, guaranteed.
Yes, the thing about the curtain was in fact true.
There might have been a little fanfic. Might have been. And
fiction about the fan dropping from the ceiling. Yeah.
Right. And I think Jordan and myself, we managed to do a sub 30-second review of She-Hulk.
Yes.
So that's in there. All that and more for our patrons. We'll be out, but hey, everyone. There we go. Goodbye, super shows. And what do we got for everyone tonight? A record amount of crowbars, Proton, and experimental. Steam's going to maybe release some number digits, which will be kind of fascinating. Neodash is Distance and Forever Alone mode. A new Zelda game for Linux. Looking forward to that. And Win32, as we can all agree, is the only stable API for Linux, right?
That's a controversial statement. We'll discuss it.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to kick over to live in Discord. Watch. Boop. There we go. Ah, now we're live.
Let's see who follows. Ass.
That's it.
The system T fucked off, and
But they're just watching it on Twitch now.
well,
Yeah.
Shush. No.
No.
I guess Foxy's asleep now. That's okay.
Asleep. Passed out.
It's like noon.
Dude, did anybody else play around? Okay, with the Sonic Kart thing? Because
No. It took me. Admittedly, it took me far too long to realize. Wait, this isn't Super Tux Kart. Hold on.
Okay. Well, I saw you write that, and I'm like, oh, right, I remember playing this. And I'm like, wait, this isn't... I had that. I went through that. I cloned the Git repo, and I'm looking at that, and I'm like, okay, there's asset files. Okay. You know what? When in doubt, drop into the root directory, type make, see what happens. We're good. I'm like, okay. Oh, hang on, ls. There's a readme? Oh, vague dependencies. Let me see. Maybe that one. Run make. Arrows out with nothing to let me know why. Like, bold move.
Well documented project. So I went to their wiki, and it says it uses a make file. That's it. That's the extent of the compilation instructions or guides or vague anything like that. To which I downloaded the zip file with the compiled binaries and typed in WINE. Yep.
And it worked out of the box with vanilla wine. I'm like, welp, that kind of lends a little bit of credence to
I mean, if they made it with Doom Classic, why not just put the WAD out so people can run it with any of the source ports, really?
I wonder if you can.
Oh. I ran around in it for a minute.
At the speed of sound, got nowhere to go, but gotta follow your rainbow.
It could be something fun to play.
Supersonic racing. Gotta get your feet right on the ground.
Well, we were talking about this in the pre-super shows, and all right, I'm like completely unhinged, no idea what's going on in the Zelda-verse. You know, the last Zelda game that I personally played was like Zelda 2. I'm like, whatever plot. I mean, it seems like it recycled. And Jordan informed me, Nintendo has no idea what the plot's.
Yeah.
Same goes for Sonic, man. Like, I get up to Sonic 3. And
oh man.
I don't know. He's got friends now.
See, I stand a chance because I remember reading the Sonic the Hedgehog comic books as a kid. So at least, like, I have some names to associate with faces. There's one video on YouTube that, like, I don't know if I want to click on it because the title of it is Decrypting the Gorilla's Lore.
Is it about
Like,
Sonic?
Oh, Nori was she had issues with that because she's been following the gorillas thing for a while, like the backstory of it all, and I think she saw that video.
Oh, the band,
like,
right?
Yeah, the band. Yeah.
I watched that video.
Okay.
It's a long-winded video, man.
Yeah, and that like it could that was where I'm at. Like, this could be like very entertaining, or this could just be someone like stroking their own dick for 20 minutes.
I learned no. I mean, it's sourced, man. It's not fanfic. Like it pulls like from the web shorts that we don't even know about because they're not on YouTube and like things that have happened like that.
Oh, hi, Civic.
We were talking about Sonic. That's what got me. It's like, what?
Okay, so maybe I'll give that a watch.
Yeah, it bounced through it because I learned things about like, oh, I had no idea that was how that. Like, here's a basic thing I didn't understand. You know, the white pupils.
Yeah.
It's because they don't. That is representing. They don't have eyes. There's a story behind that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
Again, like. Yeah, like if you told me that, you know, if you play all the Gorillaz music videos like back to back, there's a story there. I'm like, okay, I believe you. I haven't watched close enough to.
I guess I should say, disclaimer. It's not like I had ammunition to prove that video wrong.
Right. Apparently Nori does though, so we need to get her on to explain how they're wrong.
She likes the Gorillaz stuff.
I mean, yeah, they put out some good music.
Sourced deep cuts, man. Like, okay. I mean, it wasn't like, and here I drew it real quick. It was like pulling up the material. I'm like, what? Okay. No, I don't know. I couldn't argue with it. It's what I'm saying. So if you're a Gorillaz aficionado, like, right on. Tell me it, but like, cite your work.
All right. Well, there you go.
Armor.
I'm happy. I'm feeling glad because I got sunshine in a bag.
Yeah, that was my favorite. What that album had 19-2000 on it, and yeah,
there's a monkey in the jungle.
Yeah, monkey in the jungle. Yeah, right. I love the video for that. That was like awesome. And I don't even like the song so much, but the one with like Bruce Willis in it, that was a good music video.
That was the name of the album too. I remember that was.
Was it Pedro? The one with Bruce Willis in it?
Yes.
The album was called Bruce Willis.
I cannot remember the name of the album. Hold on.
If you search Gorillaz Bruce Willis,
Stylo.
You're just gonna find a gorilla that looks like Bruce Willis. They have that cat that looks like Ron Perlman. There's just a Bruce Willis gorilla out there.
Stylo. There you go. That's the
Feed me water.
Thank you, Foxy.
Meow,
Foxy
meow, feed me Walter. I don't know why that is so funny, but
hey man, memes you can hear, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feed me Walter. Meow.
Civic, how do you even like manage only having one Steam Deck? Strider says you gotta have two of them.
You gotta
play them in
double
stereo
disc.
to get the right experience, right?
Strider at one point had three.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, and Strider would know. He had three at one point.
It reminded me of the loading ready run thing that they do, because they did I have 2 PS2s, and then they did I have 3 PS3s, I have 4 PS4s, and I have 5 PS5s. And then they did like a video, I think it was Paul, he's the one who does stars in those videos. It did like, he was doing a video explaining how they got all 5 PS5s, because they were all actual 5 PS5s, and right on release. And they had to borrow it from 3 different people, and they had 2 of their own. It's like, yeah, there we go.
Definitely rubbing salt in the wounds for people who couldn't get their hands on one.
What?
That's the whole point of those videos. It's very well done.
There we go. I put that on. Hello, Abe. Abba. Azamova. Zaba.
Can you
ABBA.
hear me, SOS? Oh, when I need you, darling, can you hear me, SOS?
I don't even know. Like, what ABBA would I identify?
Mamma Mia.
Mamma Mia.
Here
Yeah.
I go again.
Gimme.
Dancing Queen.
Dancing Queen. Okay, yes.
Dancing Queen. Yeah. I used to
One of those
listen to a
bands
lot
where
of
like
ABBA as a child.
I would know something because of cultural touchstone. but,
Cultural osmosis.
Hello, Joel.
Waterloo. I was defeated at Waterloo.
I don't know, man. All modern music sucks. Get off my lawn. Who was it?
I only listened to Baroque flute.
Anything after they got rid of harpsichords, man, that piano thing just messed everything up. Just give me a lute. What was that article I posted earlier this week about what's wrong with modern metal?
Oh yeah, it was like Jonathan Davis from Korn is complaining
Korn,
about
yeah.
how metal requires no talent these days.
That's the boom dum nahin.
Yeah, I saw that. I was gonna type that out, but I didn't have time to actually spell it out.
You could have just smashed your head on the keyboard in the GIF section and it would probably pop up.
Maybe.
This is a non.
If you type free correlation, the gift thing, it gives you the boom that's the boom bit from the video.
We gotta.
The bullet holes, yeah. Yeah, he starts like fucking scatting at the bullet and it disappears and it like deflects.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
You gotta do the full. Yep.
You gotta do all of it.
Trying to hide. Hey, you know what? In like 1999, whatever, that horrible CGI bullet.
Yeah.
That was
Slow
dope as
motion
shit.
that was not consistent.
I think one of my favorite like in-camera effects from music videos at that time is the music video for Sweating Bullets, where Dave Mustaine is getting the shit kicked out of him by like 5 Dave Mustaines.
They just get him from the Mustaine convention.
Yeah, the Isle of Mustaines. It's right next to the Isle of Clarksons.
They have a big church. All right, let me get that up to the top. And yeah, I just need to get something to drink and we can get underway. There we go. So is
The 3D rendering Dex doesn't count, right?
Is he just like modeling his home?
Yes. he wanted to have like
You
a
need,
full accurate 3D model of his
Jordan, if you could boop the bridge.
Boop the bridge.
ground.
Where's the terminal? Where's my sperminal? Don't type in sperminal in the terminal, Jordan.
Hey man, I've aliased Stranger Things. Run them shits.
Yep. It's sudo IU shat control R. All right,
There we go.
It's I push the button.
Is it working? I need to automate it so I can email an address and trigger it. Why are you modeling your house? Why do you have 4? Is that all your Steam Decks?
He added 2 more just because.
I mean, like, I don't know if you're. At first, I thought he was planning on doing renovations or something, but I don't think he owns that place.
Maybe he's just learning about Blender, man.
Maybe.
Oh. There could be worse things to learn about.
Like?
An 11-year-old abandoned game because you have a thirsty need to have Randy the Macho Man Savage as your car for Trackmania night.
Oh, yes. Riding a Slim Jim.
Yeah. Driving a Slim Jim.
He's embedded in the Slim Jim.
You want to play Doom in your apartment? You know what? I think, like, maybe I've had that idea at some point in my life. I'm like, oh, it'd be fun to model a hut. I'm like, no, never get around to it. But good on you, buddy. Good on you. You've actually got to it or started.
Strider has a lot of free time.
Hey, man, you know, if you roll back far enough, you could do, like, I hear Blender had a game engine at one point.
Yeah.
I remember playing that not
Shot
Wipeout game.
Oh, right, that
Sintel,
one.
yeah.
Sintel, and then the Wipeout demo game thing. I'm like, huh, all right. Back in those days, everyone, we were easily amused.
Back in those days, the promise of a game that would run on Linux at all was just like, oh, gimme.
Right.
That's why I played a lot of Neverwinter Nights.
You had your games, man. I mean, mine was like Quake Arena. That was pretty much it for a decade. Quake Arena and Quake Arena adjacent.
Yeah, 2005 that I started playing around with Linux. And after figuring out how to get FGLRX running on that Acer laptop, it's like, okay, so that's working. Games that are not like Wesnoth. Something that's not Wesnoth that I can play. Oh, Neverwinter Nights has a Linux version. Let's go.
And when you're just like looking for the games these days, where do you go? What do you do? Like open source games? Because we used to have to like hunt and pack, man. We'd have to go to like happypenguin.org, a place like that. We didn't have GitHub.
The Linux Games Database.
LGDB. Is that still around?
Nope. I was looking for it the other day to try and find out like the list because they had a list. And I ended up going to the archive and pulling the list, and I have a spreadsheet with the list that they had. It's very out of date.
Man. Myth 2 from Loki.
Mm-hmm.
I still have my jewel case for that. I think I got, wait, I don't know if I have the box still. I might.
Sacred Gold from Linux Games Publishing.
LGP,
That was on the Sura.
It hurt buying from LGP, man. LGP was like retail plus.
Mm-hmm. That it had a markup, but hey, you know, games you recognize with native Linux versions.
That's why I had
was
my
the
one
Linux
title,
tax?
man. I bought it out of like, all right, fine, but yeah, it was like 20% too. Because I remember paying, it was like 60 pounds for ballistics or something. It was a tube turning game. Like it wasn't a car. You're racing in a tube. Hi, Jordan. How are you doing? What's going on? What are you up to?
Reading about coffee.
All right.
Copy the Dropbox competitor.
No, copy the Windows command.
You mean the DOS command?
No, you mean the
The PowerShell app module.
the goddamn, what is it called? The Linux subsystem for
Linux subsystem for Windows.
yeah. Okay, like here's a legitimate question. I don't remember, what is it in modern Windows with like the DOS simulator without running or whatever PowerShell? Is it CP, or do you got to type out copy, or is it like
I think
control
it's still copy.
I think CP and LS and a few of the other two-letter ones got backported into CMD.
I know they were definitely in PowerShell because if you do
Yes.
like if you type ls in PowerShell, it's like get directory contents.
Yeah, it gives you the dir but in tree mode, like LS.
Yeah.
What happens when you type dir into.
Dir is actually a valid command.
Oh shit! It worked. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Dir is just alias to ls.
All right.
Copy item in PowerShell. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, please tell me it's case sensitive.
No, and it
It's
auto
Windows,
fixes
man.
the casing.
They're
man.
allergic to case sensitives.
If you just hit tab, it automatically corrects all the casing. It's like, all right, okay, let's do that.
I don't know. Like, how do you do scripting in Windows? Like, how did you do it before?
So you had a couple ways actually. You could do like batch commands. You could do batch scripts. There was also VB script. VB script would let you hook directly into Windows.
Okay.
VB still does that.
Yep.
And now with PowerShell, you have the
Yeah,
PowerShell,
and now PowerShell,
ISE, which lets you just paste everything out, and you have effectively a notepad that you could just run stuff directly from there.
Am I misremembering, or didn't like Windows 3.11 have a thing on it that would like record your clicks and inputs where you could save it and replay it?
I mean, there's software that'll do that, but
Yeah,
I don't know if that was
Well, we're
ever
talking
in
software
Windows.
to do that.
1992, 1993. It was like a built-in. Might have been.
I
Fever
was like 4 at the time, so
Right.
I mean,
I used it, but I don't remember that much about 3.11. I remember
what was
the
the
one
thing?
time that I really
Thank you,
done
Alan.
goofed.
These children couldn't help me out.
The one time that I really done goofed with 3.11 was when I made the window borders so big that the actual contents of the window wouldn't show. And I could not figure out how to do it, so I had to tell my dad that I done goof. And then we spent a few hours figuring out how to ungoof it.
I was always amazed at Windows 3.11 because it had some of the most jarring, like how dead serious theming that I think has not been out uglied with like dithered red on yellow on white. Like, what is this? Like, this is not even a joke.
ketchup, mustard, and mayo.
Yeah. Hot dog stand?
Yeah.
Was that it? That could have been it. I don't know.
Yeah,
Let me get
I
something
think,
to drink and
yeah.
I'll get underway.
I was yellow and red at least. I didn't even try a custom shell until Vista. It was a custom community-made shell that basically worked without crashing if you had a integrated AMD or ATI graphics. And I had a laptop with an Athlon 64X2 with integrated ATI graphics, which came with Windows Vista, and it crashed. The first thing it would do as soon as you let it into Windows is it would crash and then spawn back up. And the I can't remember what it was called. The really popular Windows 8 one that basically just made Explorer like it used to be, and you got a start menu like in Windows 7.
Ah, yes,
The one
the
that
Unfuck
everyone
Windows
used.
package.
Yeah.
I think Arthur posted that the other day. It was just like the Unfuck Twitter extension that just reverts Twitter back to the way it looked like a decade ago when it was actually usable.
Before it went, wait, people mostly use phones to go on Twitter, so we're just going to make it all vertical with no horizontal real estate whatsoever. It's like, really? Really? The reason Microsoft gave for why there wasn't a Windows 9, that's still funny. Perfectly legit. I believe them. That is the one
Yeah.
thing that I will believe Microsoft for.
Listen, sometimes it's just easier to bypass the thing than have to like explicitly deal with it. And at the end of the day, it's a version number, right? Like, it doesn't actually mean anything. It's, semantic versioning. So
If Windows 9 something, put it in legacy version or, not work at all.
I mean, I'm still mad that Fedora ditched Beefy Miracle as its Plymouth screen, because that shit was great.
Spherical cow.
The mustard indicates progress.
Cult of the Dead Cow. I saw something about Cult of the Dead Cow this week. Someone posted something about that on Discord, didn't they?
I think it may have been Jacqueline.
Quite possibly, yes. There you go, yes.
I still like the complete teardown that they've been doing on the John Deere shit since DEF CON.
That's the way to do it, though, man. I mean, if you're going to roll out and like, hey, we finally got this reverse engineered, so we got it rooted. So let's play Doom with a tractor on.
Yeah, that's corn
play Doom Farm.
Yeah, Sim Doom.
Yeah.
So down with that. I look forward to being able to watch all the DEF CON talks from this year, because there were some pretty interesting things that took place. That included.
I really hope John Deere like eats some serious legal shit from that, because they're like, these like multiple GPL violations here. And also their whole thing was like, oh, we can't trust the farmers to maintain their own farm equipment because of the specialized advanced software that's in here, and it's all just like out-of-date Windows CE shit.
Yes, and there was the one farmer that took that and was like, I didn't know anything about this. I got on the internet. I figured it out. I figured out how to root.
I found the firmware from Ukraine where I was able to load it.
Right. And he's sitting there going, if I can do this? And, it is dirty because, I mean, it cuts out. That would be like your automobile. You could only get it repaired. Okay. Minus the Tesla owners. Only get it repaired at the dealership. Like, that's not right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And these are very expensive pieces of machinery, too. Like, they need to be in service for, like, I'm guessing at minimum, what is the ROI on that, 15, 20 years?
Yeah, and, it's kind of crucial so that we can have food to eat,
Yes. And that post that one of the former John Deere software people made that immediately got deconstructed by everyone after he made it, that resurfaced again. That was nice to see.
For those of us that are like, what?
There was a couple of years ago, someone who claimed that they were a software engineer with John Deere as one of the people who developed the software stack. He was saying, it's like, please don't do it because it's not safe for Joe Farmer to go around fixing their own equipment.
Yeah, tractor, drain pressure.
And then, of course, the internet just destroyed that argument. It's like, I'm sorry, Joe Farmer has been fixing their own farm equipment for longer than you have been alive.
That was my first thought. I was just like, we're talking about like ingenious people, man, that know how to get stuff done.
And it's like, it's their livelihood. You're on a tractor or on a combine harvester in the middle of a field. That is money. And if it breaks down and you can't fix it, you're stuck waiting for the one certified John Deere technician that can drive to your state.
that will show up and then say, hey, this part has a special chip on it that lets us like mark up this part costs by like $3,000.
Well, that was like legitimately one of the issues they had with it is you needed software level authorization to install replacement parts.
Yeah.
Like John Deere was just dirty with it. So no one is feeling bad for John Deere right now. Good.
I'm just like, ooh, someone's going to.
As companies go,
All right, everyone, let's get underway. We can do a show.
Let's start farming our own bullshit.
Stay tuned for our crypto. What type of crypto would we have? Horse?
No, it's CoCoin Voltron.
CoCoin Voltron.
CoCoin Voltron. There you go.
That works, yeah.
All right, everyone. That's good. That's good. And back. Come on, creak some more, you old assholes. Ladies and gentlemen, episode 522. Hey, welcome back to LinuxGameCast Weekly, the show that covers the latest Linux gaming news, reviews, how-tos, and most importantly, whatever the hell else we come up with over here on the left in the orange. I'm Vin. Over there with the Use Me Please Penguin t-shirt. Man pimping our merch stored at LinuxGameCast.com. Jordan's Fang, and the guy with the haunted curtains.
Don't tease them. They already fell once tonight. They don't need to fall anymore.
Do the haunted curtains match the haunted drapes?
Oh, no, man. It sounded like you said, do the haunted curtains. Like, yeah, it's the latest dance craze.
Do the haunted...
I can't do the arm motion with that one. No, sorry. Too complex.
Together with the most haunted curtain, Cocaine Voltron.
CoCoin Voltron. It's our new cryptocurrency.
Yes, only available at, I don't know, somewhere. No, bad idea.
CoCoin.Voltron. It's a URL now.
ccv.linuxgame. Don't go there. Don't go there. What's up? What's new, ladies and gentlemen? I have something that only a few people get to experience. The brave, the bold, the cheap. Yeah. I was waiting for, with the Jackbox, I got the 5600G and I did that firmware flash and I was able to put that in a B350 chipset. I'm like, this is amusing. And I was just sitting back waiting. I'm like, I'll get a B550 motherboard when I find a decent price on one on Amazon. And I was like, hey, we got a decent price on a used one. How decent? I'm not immediately ruling that out. I'm like, $85. Shipped from us, sold by us. I'm like, all right. So that's going to be showing up Monday, and I can sit back and maybe I'll be able to do a video or live stream like picking peanut butter out of the USB ports or something like that. Or the zip socket's just full of ham. I don't know. Like
sunscreen.
Yeah, motherboards, that's the base for everything. I don't know if I would go secondhand on those. Processors, absolutely.
Well, here's the thing. The motherboard for Threadpooper. The only way we could afford that was a used one. And that one was legitimately dangerous because pins on the Mobo. Like I spent an afternoon like, am I missing a bit?
LGA.
Dude, that was the thing. So, that's going to show up Monday. It's going to get recorded one way or the other in case there's an air conditioner. I mean, a brick inside of there. I'm like, that's not a motherboard.
Just angry bees.
Yeah, bees. You know what? We'd call it even. If I got bees, I'm like,
fair.
Played.
Yeah.
Well played, Amazon. Outside of that, I saw that everyone's favorite Guitar Center employee, Jim. If your name's Jim, I apologize. That's my generic name for the person who works at each and every Guitar Center across the continental United States. When he sees the thing and doesn't know what it is, he's like, fuck it, it's $99, and just puts it in the moon category.
Oh man, now I'm just imagining like a Nurse Joy, Officer Jenny type situation, except you walk into a Guitar Center and it's just the same dude no matter
it's
where yeah, it's Jim.
I mean, there's two versions of Jim. It's a mixture of either incompetence or just blatant negligence. Like, I don't know what this is. Fuck it, get out the door, or Like, oh, this is a stupid thing. We can sell it for this or whatever. I saw another one of those devices, but it's blue. And I'm genuinely having that issue of it's cheap enough to just buy it. You know, we're talking like $100. I'm like, don't really need it, but it's blue. I don't want another blue thing in the rack.
You need to color code it so you can like accidentally not plug unplug the right cable.
Complete irrational. It is fate coming back to kick me in the junk, Jordan. And that's what it is, because my favorite for 30 years is when somebody's just rambling about something. I'm like, oh yeah, by the way, my favorite color is blue. And they're like, why? I was like, well, if we're sharing irrelevant information right now, I just thought I'd chime in. And I feel this is the universe's way of getting back at me. It was like, yes, this is a great value thing that you want to play with. Blue. It's your favorite color, right? Huh? Anyway, it's not. My favorite color is not blue. My favorite color is dark. So, see? Orange shirt. Nice, bright, and dark.
Yeah, Ven's the dark winter. He's got the dark wintry coloring.
Oh man, Game of Thrones. It's coming back to us, baby. How about you, Pedro and or Jordan?
Well, this thing fell out of my chair a couple hours ago, so I'm looking for a new chair. It's like clearly sheared off. So like,
have you discovered what job it had?
No, but
if you lean to one side, is there too much of a tilt?
That's what I checked. I'm like, I heard the thing drop. I picked it up. I'm like, huh. And I wiggled my butt on the chair a little bit, and I'm like, seems good, but I should probably accelerate purchasing a new one before my luck runs out.
So you have no idea what part of the chair that is like?
No, absolutely not. I haven't looked underneath. Yeah. So that's been my exciting week.
So for everybody watching the video version right now, do yourself a favor. Fast forward to the end and see if Jordan's standing.
Well, see, now I'm just going to stand up for the end of the show just to fuck with people.
All right. How about you, Pedro Haunted Curtains Mateus?
Yeah, no, I'm not going to hold up the curtains because, well, I already did that tonight. Wouldn't recommend it. But, yeah, no, I came into possession of a ThinkPad X220, which is in absolutely
how much did you lowball the person on eBay for it?
I wasn't on eBay. It was from the office, from the decommissioning. There's one of the tenants is leaving their offices, and we're the ones that have to decommission them because they just up and fucked off. So everything that they left behind is ours. And this
what you're saying is you still haven't found a use for the lock picking, huh?
No, they left us the keys, so we just have to go through things. But yeah, no, it's in like mint condition. It didn't have any asset labels or anything on it. It is in very, very good condition.
Looks like it's missing some shit from the bottom.
Yes, the battery. Battery is right here because it's dead. It's if you plug it in, U-Power just says 0 watts, 0 capacity left. Oh. Okay, I guess being in the cupboard for like 11 years, because this is a 2011 laptop.
So to keep on the theme, how much are you currently lowballing people for one of those batteries on eBay?
I'm trying to get it for under 20 pounds. Okay. That's yeah. I already had to spend 10 for the power brick because there was no power brick. It was literally just the laptop there. So, okay.
Here's a fair question: is that a yellow USB port?
The ThinkPads did have
no on the side.
Yeah, old ThinkPads did have the yellow USB ports.
Other side with a bright yellow thing on it, Pedro.
Oh yeah.
God damn.
I didn't even notice that, but yes, that is the USB 2 port. Yeah.
Yeah, the what do you call it? S31, because that is right. It's the passive charger. So like if you have the laptop powered down, it'll still charge off.
It does power share. Okay, right.
Yeah.
All right.
It's also allegedly magical. Lick it.
My old ThinkPad L412 had that as well.
Do you know why they quit using that color? Attracted too many ghosts.
Oh, I thought it was
repelled green
because
lanterns.
with the X240, the power supply was a square yellow thing that looked very much like USB at first glance.
Equally delicious, much like the horse.
I don't know. The horse is kind of tasteless these days. You gotta like drown it in hot sauce or soy sauce, cover it in salt, deep fry it. I don't know. It's the steam.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know what you're thinking, man. It's been a long time since we all got together and played some Half-Life. We got our crowbars out. We started smacking some head crabs around. You're not alone. You're absolutely not alone, because Half-Life just smashed its concurrent players record thanks to a little band. Campagan, #remember Freeman. It aimed to show Valve that, yes, the internet can coordinate for nanoseconds at a time, get together and do its thing. So on behalf of the internet, we did it, internet. #we did it, Reddit. 12,280 Half-Life players got together. That new peak. That's great, man. That's great. Breaking the bar event. So that was last year's, and that smashed the Half-Life 2 concurrent player record count. Neat. Nothing is going to come of this. I don't think anybody thinks anything comes of this. This is like maybe just a happy reminder that to Valve's like, yeah, everyone bought it too.
Yeah, and the #remember Freeman. And honestly, Half-Life is a very good game. For the time, it was kind of revolutionary. So, and you can possibly blame it for all the modern military shooters. But
I'd say Call of Duty was more to blame for that.
No.
Yeah, Call of Duty, you could track that back to Half-Life.
Valve, I want you to go full retro on Half-Life 3. I want a duck and cover crowbar simulator.
No, they just got to make Half-Life 3 in the Gold Source engine, so everything just looks old and crappy again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
but like, yeah, it's kind of neat. Everyone had an occasion to go and play the OG Half-Life. I guess these days, if you really wanted to experience the story, Black Mesa is the way to go. Would you say?
Possibly not.
The original still holds up and it's still perfectly playable, right? So,
I mean, I have not forgotten those of you who have been on my journey with me through my road to Zen, where I will eventually finish playing through all of that, but because I'd never played the original Half-Life, and that game's hard, man.
Yes.
didn't fuck around, that's for sure.
It's like I have not opened that game since the last time I live streamed it was probably like 6 or 7 months ago. I know exactly where I'm at.
Yeah, I think Freeman's mind kind of like really did a number on how people's perception of how fragile you are in that game, because Ross Scott is a lot more durable with invincibility turned on than your frickin' Gordon Freeman PC with like 100 health that goes away after 4 bullets.
Yeah, like his point was that the HEV suit was bulletproof. Like, all right, okay.
Well, apparently all the NPCs are firing bullshit then.
Yeah.
It's just,
Oh yeah, you can absolutely kill Wolverine with the adamantium bullets, of course.
Sure, man. Shoot them in the head. They won't hurt anything. Proton. We got 2 Proton stories this week. The regular, ordinary Proton, but some of that experimental stuff that Pedro will tell you about in a minute, right after Jordan regales you with this tale.
Most of this new release, Proton 704, is the roundup from the experimental version. Links to all this stuff is in our show notes. But, you know, our long national nightmare is over. You can finally play Chuzzle Deluxe on Linux. It sounds like something Mr. Foxdog made up, I'm not going to lie. That's the only reason I brought it up.
Chumble-wumble?
Chumble-wumble. Disgaea 5 is playable. I played that on Switch, and it's actually pretty fun. It's exactly as grindy as every other Disgaea game, so if you're looking for something that will consume 200-plus hours of your life, I'd give that a recommendation.
Of course it's Electronic Arts. Why not? Keep piling on, guys.
Right,
Deluxe,
the Bejeweled
baby.
clones, yeah, that would be EA, yeah.
But, you know, nothing too crazy in this release. Not a lot of new features, just game-specific fixes, which is stuff we like to see in Proton, right? But not a fix that Ben wants to see.
Well, where's my Spooderman fixes? Because let's all collectively get together and pull our heads out of our asses. That shit does not run well under Linux yet.
It sometimes it takes a while. What was the one? New World, the Amazon MMO that was burning up GPUs, when that started working on Linux that first week, it was me playing it and not many other people. So I got to see the really bad performance that comes before the shaders are available.
The GPU breaking stuff? Yeah.
Well, I had a little bit of that experience because I played probably like 20% of Horizon Ginger Turbo until Joshy did the thing with the DX12. And, you know, I'd put it down. I'm like, it's just too tricky to play. I'm not going to worry about it. And then, boom, well, that switch flipped. Haha. And, you know, Spooderman is all over the place. It's all over and it's doing obviously weird things. Like, you enable DLSS, it dramatically increases the texture quality from it being off. Like, we're not talking about sharpening. We're talking about overall texture quality. Night and day difference. It's not talking about something you squint like you normally do with the DLSS. You're like, yeah, that's a little different. Like, whoa, this looks way better.
Spooderman's is DX12, right?
You believe so? Maybe?
Probably.
I mean, it's a 4-year-old game, too.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you offhand, right?
It was a PlayStation 4 game.
Yeah. Like, the swinging through the cities is not great. And by not great, it'll drop down into the 30s at 1080p on a 3060 with DLSS enabled.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it'll get better. That's usually what happens with games running under Proton.
I saw people running it on the deck. Admittedly,
30.
it was like on the lowest setting.
At 720p.
Yeah, but it looked smooth enough, and they had the Mango HUD on the corners holding between 50 and 60. So okay, all right.
Again, though, that's with ACO. That's on an AMD card where Valve has like specific optimizations for it. Like, it's not quite apples to apples. Yeah.
That's the advantage of the AMD GPUs nowadays. Is very much the Valve specific optimizations that have gone into it.
Well, I mean, I can read through the pretty much entirety of every review on ProtonDB, and people are happy when they can get it to 30 on their Steam.
I mean, that's standard for a PS4 game, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's what they're looking for on their desk.
They were targeting it originally.
I'm like, all right, that's great. So, yeah, I'm just waiting. I don't have to play it right now. It's a little, because, you know, I paid the iron price for it. I'm like, I'd like to get some more use out of this, but it's not a great experience just yet. But I'll still wait. Maybe it'll be in Proton Experimental.
Not quite yet, but it is. Of course, with the 704 version containing most of what was an experimental, there's a bunch of new stuff in experimental, which is always great to see. With this version, they have now fixed Revolt and Vermintide 2. Apparently, Vermintide 2 is still a bit iffy, and if you're going to run Revolt, absolutely, it's an awesome game, but use our VGL instead. It runs much better on the deck. That's how I've been running it, and it's amazing. The other thing that jumped out at me was the improved video playback in Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. Yes, that game, whenever you hit a cutscene, it would chug. Perfectly smooth. The rest of the game was perfectly smooth. You hit a cutscene. So, yeah, they fixed that. That's nice.
Yeah, if you're speaking of AMD cards, if you're on AMD now, you can actually get in-game for Halo Infinite. Now, you might be thinking, hey, can't you do this already with Proton GE? Yes, you can. But, you know, mainline Proton catching up is always a good thing. Yeah, Vermintide. Speaking of games I paid the iron price for, and then lo and behold, I can actually play them now. It's still a little unstable if you're not the host. And yeah, I was able to log in through Elite Dangerous, but the game is still borked for me. Every couple months I'll go reinstall it and be like, can I get in game? No? Fuck you, Frontier.
They fixed the launcher, to be fair. Launcher's fixed. Okay, all right.
I think it's always important to keep your eye out on the Proton game updates, because you run into things you thought you'd never be able to play, like Duke Nukem Forever. Mm-hmm. Like, admittedly, I played that for 10 seconds. I'm like, I got to play it, and Rise to the Triad remake. Like, that didn't work forever, and it finally started working. What about Revolt, though? I mean, does the online and everything work with the built-in version that you get out of Steam?
If you use RVGL, you can use RV House.
Okay, not what I asked.
Yes, but the version that's currently on Steam, that still uses the old multiplayer system, which you can do direct IP connections.
Okay.
But I don't actually know if it works because I haven't used the old system.
I'm just trying to be realistic because 99% of the people who would be thinking about Revolt are going to click the play button. And like, no, download this other. Nope.
If you just click the play button, it will work. A single player is fine. Multiplayer, you're still dealing with the old system. There is no central server. There never was, to be fair. So
okay,
yeah.
No GameSpy arcade or anything.
No. Actually, that's what RV House did. It was a third-party thing that gave everyone a hub to create servers and join other people.
Well, do you think we'll be able to track playtime of how many people got a hold to the actual Revolt client during the winter sale?
I don't know if they are doing it that granularly, like on a per game basis, but you can check how many seconds, or you will be able to check how many seconds once the winter sale comes in. Pavel Jundik, the Expo, as you may know him, the person behind SteamDB, decided, you know what? There's this year in review page that I've managed to data mine. Let's see if I can poke at the API. And as it turns out, he did. And you see the breakdown if you're looking at the video version. There's total playtime in seconds, VR playtime, Linux playtime seconds, DEC sessions, Linux desktop sessions, macOS sessions, Windows sessions, whatnot. They're all there. They're
very nice number of deck sessions.
Yeah, 69 of them. But as he points out, this currently is per user. He could only find the info about himself. So it would be nice if someone managed to find a way to get at least of the public Steam IDs, collate all of that information, and just paint a pretty picture, even if it's completely off. Just paint a pretty picture.
I like Valve could have an intern do this over the weekend, but
yeah. With the actual numbers because they have them.
What do you think they're really planning, though, man? I mean, because I would like to see like what playtime and everything else is per game. I think that's valuable information. It's not like the competitors, like Epic, isn't going to gain anything by Valve making those numbers public.
It might be an interesting thing on the store page to be like, people have played on average about X number of hours of this game. That might be like, I don't know if it's like a useful metric, but it would be interesting to know.
I mean, you already have, if this is only going to be visible to the person, then you already know your own playtime because you just go to the library and it gives it to you right there.
Yeah, but I want to know your playtime, Pedro.
I want to
my
judge
Steam
you.
profile is public. You can go look.
Couple of new games this week. Actually, we got a bunch of new games to talk about this week. Don't know what happens this week, but like, hey, let's release some new games. Starting off with something that I played in the Steam preview thing. I'm pretty sure I did. Like, not the previous one, but the one before that. I'm talking about Neo Dash. It's drifting. It's distance. It's a card game. It's also single player. More physics platformers with wheels, and one dude made all this. Single player. It's clocking in, though. Here's one thing I was looking at. Regularly $15.99, which is 1.4 Hollow Knights. That's a bit. It looks like there's a map editor, though, so you can make your own standalone experience. I don't know if there's any type of like letterboards or anything along those lines, which no, it's just forever alone single player mode.
As far as it looks, yeah, looking down the side, there's achievements, partial controller support, Steam Cloud for the saves in the deck. That's very important nowadays. And
apparently
the
they
level
got
editor.
some Monster Cat tracks in here too.
It
know
looks
that name.
very good.
I know that name from Rocket League, and that's it. That's literally it.
It looks very good, and if you were looking at the video version, you saw the video, the trailer. It's driftstance. It's super distance kart.
Yeah, distance minus the multiplayer.
Yes.
Moral of the story: go buy Turbo Golf Racing.
Yeah, that one seems to be doing very, very well.
Pretty decently. Now, this next one is not a joke, but we're going to turn it into one. Because when I first saw this, just looking at the art style, I was thinking, what was the game from Frozen Byte? Was it Shodan?
Shadwin.
Shadwin. That's for whatever reason, like castles moving around, like hiding and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, we're talking about climb challenge castle. Description: prepare yourself. A player needs to climb the building by clinging and climbing to the walls. Now, this is currently 40% off its normal $13.99 price, which you're looking at it. And I'm like, all right, I mean, it doesn't look terrible or anything like that, but maybe climbing castles would get boring. Then you get to the video and find out, nay, climbing castles would be fucking hilarious. This really would be, because look at this. Look at this. This is like, imagine Assassin's Creed on the N64, but worse.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like a half-functioning prototype that somebody hammered out. Like, we're not kidding. This is full 1080p 60, baby. And maybe you're getting like 12, 13 frames per second. Maybe.
Yeah, it really does look like
cloth jumps
jerks
around.
And
oh yeah, it just goes up. Yeah, it really looks like someone took the Colossus out of Shadow of the Colossus. Also, yeah, that trailer frame rate is so fucking bad. I don't.
Yeah, no, it's like, oh, you gotta have a video on a store page, but no one said anything about not overloading the encoder when you're recording it.
It doesn't have to be a
This
good
is one
video.
of those rare times, normally, yes, we'll chastise you a little bit lovingly for not having a video. This is one of those times you're showing like, it's okay, don't worry
Maybe
about
you
it.
shouldn't have a video.
We won't tell anyone if you don't.
Bulanchi.
Yeah. All right, fine. Pillow fight at my place. You guys ever had a pillow fight?
Yeah.
Okay. How bad did you? Okay. All right. How do you do a pillow fight? Like, haha, we're playing a pillow, or like, I'm trying to dethrone somebody from their feet.
The latter, obviously. You stuff the pillow right at the end of the case, and then you whack someone on the side with it. Yeah.
Yeah, except I was the really skinny, really small one at the time, so I was the one that got knocked off his feet.
I thought you were going to say you were always the pillow.
So, but Pedro, so my experience was, as the fat kid, they all gang up on you. It's like trying to take down a fucking brontosaurus or something.
Yeah, they gang up on you because they need multiple people to take you down. With me, I just get swiped from one of the slightly bigger kids, and away I go.
All right.
Welcome back to Childhood Trauma Cast.
We're talking about pillow fights, man. Action multiplayer, easy to play party game where you take pillow fights with your frenemies to the next level. Make your sleepless nights memorable. I can think of other ways by being fluffy. Oh, just like us. Fluffy and deadly. Oh, all right. Here's what I got to say about this. Okay, let's check out some of the art here. Because they got a nice little animated, 3D. I mean, that looks good, right? It's a couple of pillows. They got their guns. They got some silencer. Pew! Got shot.
No witnesses.
Now the pillow's bleeding out. Shh, it's gonna be okay. Then
just gonna teabag him.
Then we see the end game.
I mean, that makes it, even if your 3D models don't look very good, you just put that fixed top-down perspective and away you go. There, you don't have to worry about it anymore.
I think the 3D model, completely different take. Completely, because I think somebody on this team 100% knows how to art. Because look at that. I mean, that you got to know what the hell you're doing to just stick this together, to do the animation rigging for this and texturing and all that, which doesn't look bad at all. But again, let's go back to this first video. You got somebody that needs to art. Maybe you need to get somebody that knows how to do the gameplay bit, because that looks horrible.
Gameplay-wise, it looks like something out of a Newgrounds Flash game, and I think I played this exact Newgrounds Flash game. But you know what this game does have? Online fucking multiplayer, is that mandatory. If you're gonna make a party game in 2020X, add some online multiplayer, my friend. And this guy did it.
And it's got a level editor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Win-win.
Like cross-platform multiplayer. Yeah, we'd like to see all of that.
Yeah.
See, this is the big difference right there, because all three of us were looking at that like, that looks comically mediocre. Not necessarily, it's got online. Okay, you know what? We could probably make it fun somehow.
Yeah, and like that's the thing, game designers. I'm going to talk to you directly. Online multiplayer can save your less than stellar experience, because if you do things with friends, it's actually fun.
That's usually the best way to do it. You just throw more people at it, and it's like, you guys try and figure this out.
No, we try and again, baby. I mean, we have the entirety of the Trine series as evidence.
Yes. But so Pedro, tell us about Nintendo's legal department.
Well, they're probably not going to sue these guys because they already released the first one, and here's Blossom Tales 2 from Castle Pixel. It's, big kudos to Castle Pixel, actually. They sent us some keys. And yeah, it is Blossom Tales 2 is what if, you played as Zelda in Zelda. There you go. That
is some Game Boy Color
I wanted to be
Zelda.
Yoshi. Why can't I be Yoshi?
You got to be a Namekian if you want to be Yoshi.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's currently 10% off, like just about every single game we talked about it, the ones that were for sale.
Yeah, what's neat about this is Blossom Tales 1 did not have a native Linux port. So, good on you guys for putting one out for the sequel.
Yeah, I had to go back and play around with it. Just take a look. I haven't had a chance to play the game, but I mean, yeah, it to me, the feeling I got from this was because I stopped playing Zelda when it peaked. Yeah, that's right. I'm talking about Zelda 2, baby. Now, just I've touched, I've fucked around with the Zelda Link to the, what was on the SNES?
Link to the Past, yeah.
Link to the Past, I was right with that. Okay, good. It looks like someone who never played Link to the Past had that game described to them by a rabid fan and designed a game around it. I mean, it's that close, but things are just slight Walter-verse in this. I can't exactly put my try-hard force on it, but did you see the animation swings on that sword?
Yeah, they seem to have the charge for the big rotating.
This looks fine,
swing.
but her sword just kind of appears and slowly waves around. The arrows look tight. I'm down with that.
That's a Zelda level shit. These are multiple Zelda bosses.
Hey,
yeah,
man,
no, it just looks like Zelda. That's yeah.
But if you're gonna plagiarize something good, right?
Right. I mean, if you have a good base to work. How much is this? $14.99. That's fine. That's less than about the same price. All right.
The reviews are pretty solid. People are saying the story isn't great, but the gameplay is solid, and that's really what you want, right? Link to the Past.
It's a video game.
Solid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gameplay kind of needs to be there.
I think one of the nice things, I mean, you want to bring this up though, SDL game controllers, which are good, so that's going to work. But here, think about system requirements. It's kind of refreshing to see a hipster pixel game break out things like, oh yeah, by the way, if you have an Athlon 64X2, you can still play this thing, man.
Yep. And you can see the glib COS, so you know exactly who did the Linux port on that one.
or they just used FNA.
Yeah.
and they copy pasted the system requirements from the document where Ethan keeps them.
Well, actually, Pedro.
Well, I know it was Ethan because they mentioned it in the email when they sent us keys.
Oh, well, then in that case.
On hard.
So much for not having facts and being refuted by hardcore facts.
Oh.
Well,
need some ointment for that, man.
Yeah. I need to soothe my bruised ego. Maybe I can buy a bundle. They got the Linux Thrills and Chills bundle.
Oh man, how many volumes?
Well, Linux and Thrill. Well, no, only one volume so far, but it does come with 5 games that you can.
Is this like doing the Netflix things with penguins? Because you probably get arrested.
I mean, unless you're the Carmageddon people, they do penguins.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
But yeah, there's a couple games included in Linux and Thrills. This is just put together by a couple of devs who have produced Linux ports of their games, and they want to, take advantage of that market, who are willing to, buy things when it's offered to them. So we got a couple games here: Death into Trouble, which is a precision platformer; Stone Story RPG, which is an auto RPG that is done entirely through ASCII art. It's a bit of it's interesting, at least. I don't know
That's
if it's 1999 worth, but. Yeah. Observation Duty is a Five Nights at Freddy clones. Zodiac Cats is a game where you have a scrambled image and you have to rearrange blocks to make the actual image.
Totally buried the lead.
Save Room. This is the one. Man. It is Resident Evil Inventory Management, the game, which is fucking hilarious.
Yep.
Try and fit all the pieces into the inventory so that you can go fight Albert Wesker or something.
I mean, I guess my entirety of Resident Evil games is probably 6 hours. I've just nibbled on them a couple times to see how they run under Linux. And I saw that. I'm like, that reminds me, wasn't that kind of... And I went to the show notes. I'm like, aha, okay, yeah. How much?
How much?
Individually for this?
Well, individually, it's $4. You can get the entire thing for about $30 Canadian.
2620 freedom units. So it'd be saving 875. And yeah, support those who support Linux. Like if you see things that you like, go for it.
Yeah, no, the Stone Story RPG is that one curious, the one that's making me the most curious.
Well, I mean, we can blame West of Loathing for that, can't we?
Yeah,
Yes.
you kind of raised the bar of like, oh, stick figures, this got to be good,
I
right?
played Kingdom of Loathing on the browser for the longest time, and then they went and made West of Loathing, which is like Fallout and the other older CRPGs, but with stick figures, and it's amazing.
But yeah, these guys reached out to us, right, Ben?
Yeah. They sent in an email like a couple of weeks ago, and like, hey, we're going to be releasing this bundle. And I wrote back, I'm like, hey, it's kind of hard to tell people anything about it. Send me a link when it goes live. And earlier this week, like, hey, it's live. See? Transaction completed.
Neat.
It's amazing how that works, isn't it? If you reach out
Yeah.
and communicate, we're not psychic.
Oh man, that you don't pay us enough to read your mind. Coming up next, wine, man. We're whining about that because glibc has some problems.
Unstable wine. Sounds delicious.
ABI breakage. ABI breakage.
Okay. That concludes the Steamy segment. If you want, I don't recommend you do it. It's probably a horrible idea. You can head over to vote.linuxgamecast.com and we can take a look at some show titles. Equally delicious.
Delicious.
All right. Also allegedly magical. All right. God damn it. All my buttons are wrong, by the way. If you haven't figured that out. Why? Because I did adult responsible thing. We're using OES 28, whatever it was this afternoon when I cloned the Git and built it. It's got WebSockets 5.0 built in, which means I needed to run a out-of-branch version of the OBS WebSockets plugin for BitFocus Companion to take advantage of that so the damn thing works. And I took that as an opportunity to synchronize all of our show screens to have the same button layout. So it wasn't just haphazard tossed on the Stream Deck. And they are all the same, but they're all in the wrong place.
So it's consistently incorrect.
Yes. The thing is, though, once I overcome the muscle memory, I'm good on everything, though.
Okay, I need drink, so I will be right back.
Go, dough.
Go, Doe.
I'm curious as like, what really can we get away with doing with having Linux on a Nintendo Switch?
Other way around.
Switch on a Nintendo Linux?
Running Switch binaries on Linux.
Okay. Couldn't we do that?
Not quite. But like, yeah, I agree. There's like the current application is limited, but you know, because the Horizon changes how a bunch of the syscalls work, so that it functions with
x86.
No, with like the way the Nintendo Switch hardware expects things to be done. Because like the apparently Horizon OS like handles some syscalls and memory management and timings a little differently.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
it's like it's a different architecture.
Yeah, and so I heard someone sort of compare it to like Wine but for Switch binaries, and it's not quite that. It's a little more low level. But I mean, it's interesting, right? Like if we could, if we can get like native games running on like ARM Linux, that would be kind of neat. Just on like a Pinebook or whatever.
I mean, it'd be kind of interesting if like you really get everything replicated and you just dual boot into your Switch mode on your deck.
I mean, or you could just run Yuzu in the deck, because this is all for like the ARM64 Linux kernel.
So that doesn't do any of the x86 anything?
No, it's just pure like ARM translation.
Back to
Although
the original question.
it does use a bunch of the stuff from Yuzu, I believe. So that's what Mizu is like, the native version of Yuzu or whatever.
Do you think we'll see like any benefits from it though, or like is it just like does it just fall squarely under like, oh, that's neat?
Yeah, I mean, right now it kind of just falls into that's fucking neat category, but maybe something will come of it.
And that is good.
Oh god, anime waifu robots are real. What the fuck?
Oh yeah, they made those horrorscapes.
Play with us forever and ever and ever.
I mean, finding something like that in your house, man. I mean, no flamethrower. Is there any games you're looking forward to playing, Jordan?
I'm waiting for Baldur's Gate 3 to come out. Same with Darkest Dungeon 2.
Is that game you're playing right now finished? Oh, what did you play this? What did you play on Thursday? That not Pokemon.
Temtem. That's like the not Pokemon.
How did that work out?
Well, I'll say that, trying to party up with someone in Australia presents some difficulties.
Okay.
Especially like when you start a fight, it takes a while for like either Foxy's client to catch up or my client to catch up, depending on who initiates it. But it works reasonably well. Yeah, the fucking around with the graphical settings made it a lot less choppy, but
I tuned in like right at the beginning.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was like herky jerk. If you ever run in pro tip, streamers, VSync with OBS under Linux, it's bullshit.
I usually just turn off VSync anyways, yeah.
Yeah. Like, and libstrangle is your friend. If you don't have, because a lot of times you probably don't want to be running a 1080p game in a window to stream with and taxing running your 1080 Ti at 99% for that, libstrangle. You can dial that back. Say, you know what, give me 70. 70 is a nice unround number. Is 70 a round number? Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Half of it is 35. 35 isn't a round number, but
Scorn. What is Scorn?
it's a horror shooter, isn't it?
I don't know. I played Doom 3.
So did I, unfortunately. I was there.
Yeah. That was my experience playing Doom 3.
Yep.
You know, one thing I'm glad that we have not tinkered with is the Skyrim multiplayer.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, dude, I've like watched people try to play that, and it's rough around the edges, man. Like, bad rough.
What else am I looking forward to? I don't know. I haven't had a lot of like bandwidth to pay attention to like exciting new releases. Basically just what we talk about on the show. But yeah, DD2 and Baldur's Gate 3 are the two that I'm currently waiting on.
Is that one, Baldur's Gate's the one that's not done yet, right?
Yeah, that's in early access. Yeah.
Coming in chunks.
Yeah, I got to the end of the early access thing, and it's like, oh well, we'll release more of it eventually. But every time they release a new version, you have to start from scratch. So it's like, okay, well,
tap the brakes.
I've played enough of it. I like what I've seen. I'm just gonna wait for the final version to come out.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Scorn, the H.R. Giger inspired game. That's
GJ.
I want to try. I want to play.
What was the vampire game that Twitch was playing for like 2 weeks straight and nothing else, and just completely forgot about it. Vampires.
Vampire with a Y?
That was like the little top-down.
Vampire Survivors.
Not that pixel bullshit.
Not that.
The vampire, whatever. Like you played as a vampire and you built like the cities, and it was multiplayer online.
Oh,
you know what I'm
V.
talking about? No, well, it wasn't V.
It started with a V.
Well, shit. I mean, what did you win?
Odds are.
V Rising.
V-Rising.
That sounds legit.
Yes.
Verizon.
Verizon, yeah.
Verizon. Can you hear me now?
Boop, 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 boop. Nom,
It
nom.
was, it has the crafting elements and the survival aspect and everything. So,
Yeah, you
of
could
course,
build like your own realm, and I mean, yeah, it's like I could be, like, begrudgingly drug into that and have a good time, but it's nothing I would actively go out and play. But yeah, that's, like, everyone I watched was playing that for like 2 weeks, and you're just like, we're out.
V for the Commodore 64.
I don't know, man. Ocean games, oof. Joystick operated, baby.
Oh, I do really want to try out Tiny Tina's Wonderland once that is off the Epic Store. There's that other one that Beamdog came out with that was like it was like all rotoscoped. That one looked interesting.
I've heard a couple of people talk about the roller derby game.
Rollerdrome, yes.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay,
Yeah.
Today I learned there was a roller derby game out.
Yeah, it's, I saw the trailer for it. It looks like Tony Hawk's meets, third-person shooter, generic third-person shooter.
Tony Hawk's Splinter Cell.
Yeah, kind of.
But basically, the entirety of Fallout.
With more roller skates.
I keep bringing it up until someone makes it. I want the Tony Hawk stealth game where you just gotta like sneak into places as Tony Hawk and not get recognized.
I want to play like Tony Hawk Pro EMT. So like every time he's fucked himself up, you have to like rescue him. Get him in the
you gotta
ambulance.
scrape him off the pavement.
Yeah. I've been so fortunate that I've never been around a like competition massive ramp. Because every fucking fiber of my being wants to go down one and like rollerblades.
There's the dog park where I take the dog sometimes. There's like a dirt bike track there with like the jumps.
Oh, those are fun.
Yep.
Strider, the Epic Online Services would like a word with you. Bold fucking statement from the people who own Easy Anti-Cheat.
Well, you see, Pedro, that's not what he was talking about, because here comes a completely different argument in 3, 2. Who made Jet Set Radio? Like, are they just...
Sega?
You have
was
to
on the
imagine
Sega Dreamcast, yeah, the first one.
whoever has that IP just has it as like, oh shit IP, because they know they can cash that check on just nostalgia.
So Sega was the publisher, and Smilebit, which is a okay, yeah. So it was an internal Sega department.
Okay. Did they ever redo Crazy Taxi? I've never played that.
I don't
But I
know.
hear good things.
They did a Crazy Taxi 2?
But that was like on the Dreamcast or PlayStation 2.
Yeah, I'm talking Dreamcast, man.
I remember seeing it in the arcades.
Yeah, there's a PC version of the first one.
Oh wow, Crazy Taxi 3 High Roller on the original Xbox.
Right. Explains why I didn't know that.
No, I want to give just a big shout out of respect for the group, for the original Xbox, that have rebuilt the online backend for Xbox.
Oh yeah,
Like where you can add friends, have voice chats, get in-game with multiplayer games that were designed only to work with Microsoft's backend. They're bringing it back.
You'll
That's cool
love
as
to
fuck.
see that shit.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with like Ragnarok Online. It was like, yeah, we just reverse engineered the server. It's cool. We just,
Modern Vintage Gamer, I think that sounds right. Did it? He got invited to. He did a thing on it on his channel. He was invited to like a closed beta to play around with it. He's like, yeah, it works for what it works for. And I mean, you can go back and play things like the original Halo and multiplayer.
Nice.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day, the way around the paid Xbox Live shit was, you could do LAN games on Xbox. So if you had two consoles, you could link them together. And so there was like a VPN service that set that up and had a hub for it. So
Hamachi.
You could do it in-house. My buddy Dar, the only time I've ever played Halo on an Xbox, because he had not fuck you money. He had more money than sense. That type of person. He had 3 Xboxes set up at his house with Ethernet cable run.
right.
And we were playing multiplayer Halo, and that was the first time I'd ever tried a first-person shooter with a controller with the analog stick. And I'm like, this is bullshit. This was me for like 4 minutes going, I'd wreck all you fucking noobs if I had a fucking keyboard and mouse. Fuck, this game is dumb. And giving the controller back.
The first shooter I played that used a controller was GoldenEye?
Alien Trilogy on the Saturn. And then Quake on the Saturn.
Is there Jet Set Radio on Steam?
Yeah.
We got a Steam bot. I don't know. I remember how to use it.
I actually have it on Steam.
Huh. That would have been helpful.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to understand Strider's definition of DRM, because apparently having an online service that stops you from being able to play the game unless you log in doesn't count as DRM.
So you just can't run the binaries?
Oh, you can run the binaries, but then it does the same thing that Fall Guys does on Steam, where it asks you to log into the Epic online services.
I mean, if it's an online game, then, yeah, kinda.
Yeah, but it doesn't do that for games that are not online?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because if that's what Strider's saying, I agree with Strider. Like,
Yeah. Like if there's a tied online service thing, yeah, I'll say that's DRM, but that's not like Epic enforced DRM. That is just you need multiple people to play the game, and so it's designed as a
but
multiplayer game.
Fall Guys was on Steam and it didn't require the Epic online services. Now it does.
yeah, because Epic bought them, and it needed to integrate it with Epic.
No
Well,
DRM
I mean,
attached to
and
the
I mean,
Epic
like,
launcher. You
I'm
don't
pretty
need
sure-
the launcher for the games. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
true
Fall
of-
Guys wasn't working with like direct IP connections, right? Like they had their own back end,
Yes.
which
Did they,
but,
wait, okay, yeah, if the argument is like, well, you needed a Steam account in order to play it, now it's on Epic, now you need an Epic account? I'm like, yeah. That's not a hill I'm going to die on. I'm like, yeah, probably.
yeah, like
I'm just trying to understand his definition of DRM. It's like no DRM attached to the Epic launcher. You don't need the launcher for the games. The games themselves may have DRM. Oh, so it's a load of bullshit. Gotcha. There's a lot of games on Steam that don't require Steam to be running.
It's more correct to say that there are games with Epic Games with DRM on the Epic Game Store that they sell, but there aren't, like, not all Epic Game Store games have DRM.
Well, I mean, I would dial it back to the entire argument is flawed on both sides because you don't own any of these games. All you're doing is renting a license to
That's
fucking
true,
play them in
yeah.
the first place. It doesn't matter if the data bits of a license that you have leased are encrypted or not. Like, look at the bigger picture here. You don't even have the game. So what are you fighting over?
Well, I mean, if you have the game and you can launch it without having it to connect it to an online service, then like, yeah, there isn't really any DRM to there.
I mean, you need to be online to Steam to get the game. Or Epic.
I mean, I could also just sneaker net it over to you on a flash drive, right?
Where would you download it from?
The library.
Ah.
I would get the ISO from the library.
Our library has... Oh, dude, I didn't even bring this up. I got a email from the government, the local municipality. Yeah, that's always one of those music.gov. You're like, fuck.
Well, yeah.
That could go a lot of ways.
Yeah, you have a message from the CRA. Please log in. Oh, boy.
And it was the AC. And they're like, hey, we would like your feedback and input on creating a municipal broadband service. And I'm like, all right, I'll come to your meeting thingy.
Are you just going to like show up on a t-shirt that says like, fuck you, Charter?
Konnichiwa, bitch. Yeah, I'm going to kick the door in. No, my buddy Adrian, he's on the council thingy, and he's responsible for that. So, yeah, I guess I'm going to go talk with him about why they needed to do this shit yesterday and what their fucking problem is, and it's sucking my ankles.
Municipal ISP, please.
And I pray to Flying Spaghetti Monster Charter has an AT&T. Bring some corporate bullshit in there.
And they just come in with a folding chair, and they come up to start talking, just
right,
drag them out.
You know what? Something less violent, like a Nerf gun, just so I can point at the Nerf gun. And just
every time they talk, just shoot a Nerf dart at their head or whatever.
Cut their mic.
Try to like get it in their mouth while it's open. Like, whoa.
All right, everyone. Let's do some news.
Yes.
We gotta talk about every time I read this fucking URL, I keep thinking it's Hitler's blog. Every time.
Leave that out of the produced version because I don't need YouTube hanging on that goddamn thing.
All right.
For 6 fucking hours. Like when we said Scientology 30 times. Like,
oh no.
It was 1 o'clock in the morning before YouTube. It's like, fine. Okay, maybe I'll finish processing this.
Fine.
Fucking YouTube.
Fucking YouTube. Ruining all our fun.
I don't know what it does now. I don't understand. Because when you go and it's like, hey, we got the ads. Are you cussy? Are you clean? Are you kind of cussy? I'm like, yeah, we're kind of cussy on this show. And it says, all of your ratings have been immaculate. That's awesome. We don't have to worry about anything. We'll process it. And you get done and it says processing, checking. I'm like, well, why do you fucking YouTube?
Oh, come on. It needs to squish that bit rate down a bit more and make the video look like complete poop.
No, it doesn't. No. The HD version will be completely done and ready to go, Pedro. And it will be checking whatever, moon bits, blinking. And this process can take anywhere from 30 minutes to the next day.
Oh, do we have any last minute ads to the plug
We
lists?
can thank Gamatron.
Yeah. 11-month resub from yesterday.
All right. Cool. All right.
Don't push Control X. Don't push delete.
This is my fucking problem. Switching over from Mac to Linux repeatedly is like.
Do you think we could get like a danger extension for Google Docs that'll do like permanent history wipe?
Oh no. Yeah,
when you remove something, it removes it from the history.
No.
Oh, man.
Just disable Control Z. That's all you gotta do. Just remove undo from Google Docs.
Man. All right. Yeah, let's do the news. That's good. Tap the record. Tap the record. Records have been tapped. Therefore, let's go into this in 3, 2, haunted curtain.
You keep teasing, and it will probably fall at some point because I already had to fix it once today. So
Cue the X-Files music.
It may very
I'm thinking
well
right now, the only thing going through my head is like, all right, difficulty in DaVinci Resolve in post to do like a force ghost, but a force curtain.
The only thing going through my brain right now is, come on, curtain drop. Come on, curtain drop. Come on, curtain drop.
Yeah,
Just trying to will it down.
in the meantime, before the curtain drops, Jordan, why don't you tell the lovely people how they can...
If the curtain like went all Doctor Strange cloak on his fucking face?
Yes, wrapped around his head. Man, and again, this is why we need a budget. If you want to help us hire some starving Disney CG artists to do this shit for us, head on over to patreon.com.
I would very much love to make that proposal. Like, hear me out. All right, there's a reason we need this high-end.
Listen, we won't work you to death, unlike Disney.
No.
But yeah, patreon.com/LinuxGameCast. Join up. You get some cool stuff like access to our Discord, which you can also get by subbing to us on Twitch, twitch.tv/LinuxGameCast. In Discord, you get access to the pre-super shows, and where Ven, Pedro, and I talk for an hour about Sandman and how we're waiting for the new season to fucking come out already, because god damn it.
I've heard
first season was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here's you know what? Tune in and I'll tell you a little cheat where you can listen to Series 2 already.
Yes. Yeah, you can also get early show note access where you can watch us congeal the show together over the course of the week, and then
you can participate.
You could participate. You can issue story suggestions. Our
you can
and
even
Foxy
do the
are
Fox
always in
Dog
there.
special, which is like wait until we've already started the show and try to drop stuff in. And you're like, dude, why? Like, that's not happening.
I mean, the Foxy special is coming up. But yeah, you can also get access to Uncut VODs 3 days early. You get your, you can RSVP for game streams. I'm occasionally, if I can get people around, do Back for Blood on Thursdays. Ven does Trackmania on Tuesdays and Fridays.
Tuesdays and Fridays. I want to say, everybody, we got so we got about 4 spots left for that. If you want to pop in and do it, we'd love to have you. That takes place at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hop in our Discord. If you're listening, you can do it if you're a Twitch sub or patron at any level. 14 new tracks each and every week. We practice on Tuesdays. It's a good excuse. We call it our adult scheduled screwing off time. We get together, we hang out, and we do some physics platforming, which is the right way to look at it. It's just that our physics platformer happens to have wheels, and we come back on Friday because we get our own custom private server that plays super sweet copyright-free tunes that you can jam out to, man. The best of the best.
That won't get you DMCA'd.
Exactly. And we do a rounds match, which it's not racing. It's everyone can win. We got a Joker thing, which usually like place 5, place 6, you get a sea monster, which is tree 50 points, which is more than first place, which is kind of difficult. And it's fun watching people try to game that. But on rounds mode, it's more important to finish the map. Then you got tryhards like me and Ogie and Jill now trying to get around the map real quick, which means we end up flying off and not getting any points whatsoever. So it's turning into a very interesting time. And plus we got the after show for Turbo Golf Racing as well. Love to see you there.
Yeah.
There, I've done my plug for it, everyone on Team Trackmania.
Yeah, speaking of Twitch subs, we got to thank Gamotron for sticking with us for 11 months, inexplicably. Still keeping on.
What about Don M?
Yeah, Don in the middle of
Don
the start of the segment.
popped up. Man,
This is our spinoff from Malcolm in the Middle. This is gonna be Don in the middle.
Speaking of the Foxy special, right in the middle of it. So thanks a bunch, Don.
Do you know what's getting a spinoff?
Kite Man?
No. Weird spinoff. Ally McBeal.
Like
That
now?
and the dancing, but yes.
The dancing baby is getting a spinoff?
No, unfortunately not. But that show that spawned the original internet email meme 3D thing, yeah, that's getting a spinoff for some reason because that's so culturally relevant.
I mean, they had Fuller House a couple years ago. I don't know. We got a store, store.linuxgamecast.com.
See, when you say Fuller House, I just think like an obese Dr. House.
Listen, if you want to buy t-shirts with Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen's face on them, you've come to the wrong place because the only t-shirts we have with faces on them are our face. You can buy a Use Me Penguin shirt. I'm wearing one right now. It fits reasonably well.
Use me.
Yeah. We got stickers, we got coffee cups, good stuff. We got wish zones as well. If you head on over to linuxgamecast.com, put your mouse over the support button. I have one, Jill has one, Pedro has one, Ven has one. And if you buy stuff off Ven's, you can even get your name in lights behind his head.
By the way, yes, you can judge me. I mentioned I need a new crimping tool. Really expensive motherboards. Fuck this thing. They don't have, all they have is the 16 core. I know there's a 12 core AMD. Fucking release it. I can't afford that one. NVMe drives, blue shit for the rack, as one does. Now,
More
let's
blue
see.
shit.
Jordan is in
I
need
really
of a
need
chair.
this chair. Please, before I die.
Yeah.
Maybe not the dice so much, but the chair is definitely something. And he likes green shit. And R4, whatever that SDHC. Yeah, that thing. Pedro needs bars.
He needs arms.
Monitor stand.
All of that is to protect, to fend off the curtains, just in case.
You gotta have that there.
It's
So that
curtains
if
for
the curtains
him.
do come crashing down again, something will catch them.
Now I'm a little sad because the Xiaomi electrically, see, I love something with the potential to harm and or maim. Pedro.
Yes, apparently Ven is in the US, so he doesn't have the option to gift me that. But if you do, don't.
Who posted like the fastest unicycle or something in Discord a couple weeks?
Oh, the 87 mile an hour
Yeah,
one. Yeah,
yeah.
no, that'll get you killed.
Yeah, get one of those.
Same reason I got rid of my motorcycle. All that shit that's supposed to be wired in your brain that says slow the fuck up, malfunctioning.
Call, what do they call it? Call of the Void, where
All
it's like,
that-
I could just drive into traffic right now.
No. I'm talking to like the safety mechanisms that are supposed to go. You need to slow down for you kill yourself. Mine are like in unison, patting me on the back, going wee.
Wee! Yo, motherfucker, wee!
I can't be around stuff like that. But goddamn, that'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
We appreciate all your support. You enable us to buy very, very dangerous vehicles and almost murder ourselves with them for your entertainment. That's
There we
why
go.
we do it.
Keeping us loud, live, and independent, ad free. That's what we do. Strange business model. We put it out for free. Like, hey, if you like it, kick us some bucks. Let us keep doing what we enjoy, and maybe we'll be around for another 10 years with our canes and walkers. And we have like, legit.
Two
Well, I'll
canes.
probably. I'll either have a walker or a hip replacement in the next 10 years, man. So. Could be both. Don't sell it short.
No, yeah, you know, one leads to another, right? If you,
Yeah, it depends on how the hip
replacement
replacement
doesn't
goes.
Yeah, right.
you gotta get the ceramic ones. I learned about hip replacements when my dad got one, so
All right.
that's fun.
It's slightly less barbaric than it used to be. But let's talk about why Win32 is the only stable ABI on Linux.
Yes, and you probably saw this blog post from Eric Heiler, which, well, this argument has been made multiple times. Jordan actually brought it up when Proton started rolling around and it became a thing. It's like, yeah, Win32 is the only stable ABI on Linux. And, well, this came about because...
Matthias, explain to me. I've heard of an API, but you keep saying ABI.
Yes, this is the binary interface for the compiled binaries, not the programming interface like you'd get on the source code. API, ABI. So, yeah, that's the application binary interface. That's what it stands for. But it is, you probably know why this came about, because glibc 236, yes, was basically they dropped DT hash, which
It's your fault for using the thing we told you to use. Shut up.
Yes, which was the default for the longest time, and well, they replaced it with the one improved version, what they created about 15 years ago or so, which is DT GNU hash, which basically is better, and it has lower latency, it's faster, it's just better all around. So I can kind of see why they did that. But in doing so, everything that was using the original default, which was DT hash, just didn't work anymore. Stuff like Easy Anti-Cheat, stuff like Hollow Knight. You know, that Ven keeps using Hollow Knight as a comparison game for things. Hollow Knight just stopped working because, yes, they were using...
Hollow Knight is a unit of currency measurement.
Yes.
You assign value to things with worth. And Hollow Knight is worth $14 apparently.
Yeah.
$14.99. Yeah.
And the Eric goes into detail as like as to why the regression happened, and you know, I'll be honest, I'm kind of inclined to agree with the general sentiment, because compared to glibc, Wine and Win32 by extension has been a lot more stable when it comes to backwards compatibility. In fact, up to at least Windows 7, Windows itself had very good backwards compatibility, especially in games, something which Linux didn't have. If you go back to the previous, or the very first Humble Indie Bundle, that one, most of the games in that bundle just don't work now. And
Baby girl,
at least two of them are glibc ABI breakage.
You can roll this show back 10 years ago. 10 years ago, and we would be saying, man, Linux really sucks for backwards compatibility.
Yeah. And it's because of stuff like this. It just gets changed with absolutely no concern as to what it may affect. I see why they did it, but this is not cool.
I mean, like, absolutely, this is sort of the perils when you have, like, open source dependencies, right? Upstream communication with downstream consumers is kind of crucial, because if the glibc people had made more noise about, hey, we are deprecated DT hash, please everyone move over to DT GNU hash, maybe we wouldn't have run into this problem. I could also rightfully throw the Wine, Proton, whoever devs who are working on the EAC integration under the bus, because, you know, maybe they should be up to speed on the latest and greatest developments of the platform that they're developing.
I mean, in their defense, how the fuck were they supposed to know, too?
Right, but again, it is mostly glibc's fault, but, you know, the EAC folks are not entirely blame-free.
I can see their argument of, like, we did the thing that they said we should do.
Yeah. It was the default, and they dropped it. Just drop, not even fall back to the different one. No, just drop the DT hash table completely.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
No, it's not a great situation all around. And I don't know about Win32 being the more stable API. I think it's definitely, at this point though, it's definitely the ones that people are most used to dealing with. It's the network effect. People, there's too much forward momentum, right? And the fact that, like, Win32 is this kind of bloated mess speaks to it's not super stable. They just haven't really removed everything, and it's like this sort of tricky towers-esque counterbalance. We can see that when, like, oh, we have to replicate specific bugs in Win32 for this, you know, Windows application to run under Wine.
Yeah, ask a Wine developer. Like, you see that every time Wine comes out with a new release, and you're like, geez, man, because you will see just obscure things. Like, who would even find that?
Very specific, like this one thing in this one application, and they fixed it.
All right, yeah. So like, when you boil it down, I think, yeah, it's been saying it for years, as Pedro mentioned. Yeah, there is a good argument to say that, like, Win32 is the API for just making games. Period. At this point, if you're going to be making games for a computer, target that. It's not the best technical solution, but it is the one that is there, right?
It's not, but you'll have
feature complete.
I mean, I'll say this. You're absolutely going to have the motherfuckers sent from their Windows 11 machines saying, no, you need all native Linux binders. And I feel you on that a little bit. Actually, I do. That's preferable. That's something we're going to get to. I do believe. But this all, believe it or not, hinges on the success of the Steam Deck. It really does. And what comes after the Steam Deck and what's adopted beyond that, because that's going to get commercialized going, wait a minute, can I get better performance if we do native versus Proton? We've been over that in shows multiple times, but this was a very strange read for me because, you know, I've been playing games on Linux using Wine, but back in my day, we called it Wine X. You might even know it under Sedega. Remember that? Dude, we're talking like 2002, 2003, so get right the fuck off my lawn. Now, back then, what was it? It was like part neat, part novelty. You know, you could get Alice, the original Alice, launch kind of, and move around with 3D acceleration. It was something that you got your flatmate and like, hey, come, look at this. Huh, you think we'll never actually play the game proper, but I mean, that's pretty fucking cool, isn't it? Now, I didn't know it was going to be the default. Like, welcome to 2022, man. You know, it's the default way to play your Linux games on your handheld from Valve in 2022. And I immediately had to think, imagine having to go back to 2002, 2003, and wrap your own mind around what I just said.
Yeah.
Like, no, the future is your Linux gaming handheld from Valve. You mean the what? Crowbar? What? Yes, you're going to be using Wine, this thing that barely opens you to play. That's the best way to. What about a handheld? Who's Gaben? And
oh, Microsoft employee Gabe Newell. Yes.
I'm gonna say, this, as much as it stings when you read something like this, and again, I feel where you're coming from, brothers and sisters that are out there, about this hot yet accurate take. Shit like this, even Linus says, don't break user space. And I'm like, hold my fucking compiler, bitch. Boom, we're gonna do it. It's one of the reasons we're unable to have nice things. And like, this fucked up some projects. I mean, this fucked up EAC, and a lot of people were left like Valve's going, maybe we should have stuck around.
And I mean, like, and here's the thing too, is that a lot the reality of this, everyone who got hit by this is likely on a rolling release distro or something that is tracking relatively close to the cutting edge, which isn't the case for a lot of people running Linux. And you know how they got around this on Windows? They just ship all the dependencies with the binaries. That's basically what Flatpak is doing. Bring your own libc, right? So like we're seeing the steps in place to like get to that future where we have a path to like long-term support for Linux binaries, but we still have a ways to go.
And I mean, it's all kind of things. You might notice if you watch us on Twitch, we don't have closed captions right now because the binary build for the closed captioning program, guess what?
I was going to ask about that, actually.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
well, there you go.
That's one version off, and that's not something that that's not a thing you just upgrade on your Linux install. It's not. I mean, you can try it.
You might be lucky and it might work, or you won't even be able to get back into your operating system.
Not an adventure we want to have on the production box. No, we're all familiar with Godot, like dough,
Godot,
cash,
got the money, yeah.
Do I have the Penguin still around? Penguin, are you still? No, wait. There he is.
Hey, there he is. Mayor Rain.
Yeah, the Godot, baby. This comes from TechCrunch. All this is going to be in our show notes after the fact. LinuxGameCast.com. How W4 plans to monetize the Godot game engine using Red Hat's open source playbook. That's right. Their plan is to get bought by IBM, right?
I mean, that's one way to make money.
Yeah, that'll keep you in business.
Let's check this out. W4 Games CEO is one of the founding creators of Godot. Before you flip out, like, commercial, bad, blah. They have just got 8.5 mil in seed funding to make Godot a big boy, to make it more palatable to game developers. And they're going to be trying to help corporations adopt Godot effectively by doing the thing Red Hat does. They give them somebody to blame. Something goes wrong, you can turn to somebody like, hey, you offer the support, fix the thing. You're like, right on it, boss. And another big thing is help. This is like a big issue with Godot, whether or not you realize it, getting games on consoles, because in order to do that, you got to sign some NDA stuff and all that. It's not going to be compatible with licensing. They're going to be able to help with that by porting a game over for you, which pretty neat. I like the idea of having an official service department, because anytime you have leveraged something, be it for your company or be it for your hobby, or like you got open source software, you get open source support. I mean, you're not paying anything for either, so you get what you get. And that can make you do things like buy commercial software. There's a reason I got DaVinci Resolve and stuff like that. And this is going to be the equivalent of that for Godot. Like, hey, we're working on this. We can invest in this. The code is available. We don't have to mess around with it. And, no one understands why we were using Unity in the first place other than everybody else was.
Yeah, I mean, now that Unity has gone out of their way to make themselves look real bad, everyone's looking around for an alternative, and W4 is there to catch those customers as they fall. And I mean, like the whole console port thing, like Ben mentioned, has been a recurring complaint about Godot. The fact that like they can't include the Switch SDK or the Xbox SDK having a body to assist with that definitely makes Godot a lot more attractive. And using a Red Hat-esque model of saying like, hey, we will provide you builds. Here's the source code if you want to do this yourself. Hey, we'll even take your changes if you want to fix stuff. I think is a good model that, I mean, Unreal is utilizing it. They have a lot more licensing surrounding it, and they're using a proprietary license. But hey, they realized giving people access to the fucking source code enables them to do cool shit with the engine that they wouldn't otherwise be able to do. Look at what guys like Alex have been doing with Project Heartbeat, right? Where they're rewriting an entirely new input system from scratch to help with latency. Yep. That kind of stuff isn't possible on Unity.
And having people who know the engine inside and out, when you run into a problem, you can just go to them because you're paying them for support and going, what's up with that? And they deal with it, and you can just keep focusing on the game, the thing that you're actually developing.
Well, even in a business, having that support there is the one thing that will get you in the door at least.
Yeah. It's probably going to be worth the money.
And even from like thinking about Godot as a project benefiting from this, developing open source software is fucking expensive. Like, yeah, like the tools don't cost anything, but like that expertise and that time has a value attached to it. Right. And, you know, being able to derive some funding from it to like better improve the engine, I think is going to be a good thing long term.
Yes.
And yeah, so basically they're just trying to get above IBM. The end. No.
Yep, indeed.
That's a
or Microsoft. Microsoft's doing all the buying these days.
Microsoft.
Bethesda, Obsidian,
Microsoft loves Godot, right? Yeah,
well, hang on. Who? What was it? The Nordic?
Embracer
Nordic
Group.
Games.
Oh, Embracer. Yeah.
Yes. Didn't they just buy everything this week?
They bought Lord of the Rings, man. Like.
Mm-hmm. They bought a bunch of stuff.
You know what? Remember the like what would have happened if Marvel had the IP rights to the Lord of the Rings and it showed like the 30 different movies.
Oh yeah.
And then again, I'm sitting back, I'm like, I want 2 Gimli movies. I'd watch that. Also like
Gimli 2, Dwarf Harder.
And like a Tom Bombadil, like, fuck yeah, give me one of those. I'll take one of those. I want to see what you come up with.
I want a Tom Bombadil movie in the style of Cats.
Okay.
Like the really weird CG cat
suits.
Yes, weird and horny. Exactly what Tolkien intended.
Don't even waste your time submitting that. Horizon Zero Linux.
So this is real neat. So this is a project in 2 parts, and the goal of which is to allow native ARM64 Linux to run switch binaries. So to get that working, there is a fork of the ARM64 Linux kernel called Horizon Linux that modifies a lot of the standard behavior in like syscalls and memory timing and like queuing and shit to play nicer with what the switch expects from like memory management, etc. And then there is another service called Mizu, which takes all the emulated services that would run in Yuzu, and then instead of running them through an emulated subsystem, just forwards it directly to the appropriate syscalls that like if you were running on native Switch Horizon OS. And this is really cool. And we were talking a little bit about this in the in-between. Functionally, like, I don't think this actually gets you a lot. There are ports of Switch games that run, like, you know, if you want to play The Witcher on Linux, you're probably going to want to run, like, Witcher 3 Online. You're not going to run Switcher because that's, like, the inferior version. But being able to do this is definitely really cool. And just being able to run games on ARM Linux ARM Linux is not usually a thing you associate with games
on ARM Linux.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's nuts. Cool.
It's directly from the kernel. You have that binary compatibility with what? Switch. That's crazy. But I seriously, kudos on the patience and the knowledge that took to do that. Major kudos.
I'm just gonna sit back going like, but what does one do with 8-year-old mobile phone hardware?
Well, you don't need to run it on that 8-year-old mobile phone hardware. You can run it on nice modern like that like 32 core board out of China that like we all want that we can't buy because they don't have a price listed on it.
Oh man, you know what? I have a feeling like this. Even when Jordan was explaining to me, it's like I don't completely get my brain meats around it, but I do have enough intelligence. Like, this is probably going to be useful as fuck in the future.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Especially for preservation, when Nintendo decides, yeah, they're just gonna shut that down. It's like, oh, you can't get games on the Switch anymore.
Pedro Mateus, here's the new Switch. It has 2 OLED screens.
Man, if they actually released like a DS Switch, I would buy that 100%. You don't even know. You don't know, man. There are some really good games on the Nintendo DS.
There was very clearly a market there for the 2 screens thing. I kind of wanted the 2DS. It didn't flip itself closed.
Yeah, it was the chunky
planar.
boy.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's talk about SRB2 kart and why it's not kart racing.
Well, it is kart racing, or sort of. But I had to do a double take. It is not actually Super Tux Kart, which is what my brain auto-completed this to. This is Sonic Racing, what was it? Sonic Rocket Racing or whatever? Sonic Robo Blast 2, that's what it was. And it is a Sonic racing game done in Doom. Like the Doom engine. They have a really large release out with a giant chunky release notes filled with stuff that I don't know or care about. But one thing they did add, which I think maybe some other open source games should look at adding, is Discord rich presence integration so that you can actually invite people over Discord, which I think is kind of neat.
Yep. There's that reminds me, mentioned Revolt earlier. Our VGL has Discord rich presence. It tells you exactly on your Discord status which track you're playing, how long you've been there, what position you're in. That's neat.
You need man, I wanted to play around with it. So, I downloaded it. Then I went to the GitHub page and I looked over the GitHub page and it's like, good luck, fucko. Here's your build instructions. Psych. I'm like, fine, whatever. You know what? YOLO, let's just run a make in this motherfucker, see what happens. It aired out with something reasonable, but when I did an LS, I was like, hey, look, there's a README kind of, and it had some vague library dependencies to which I pulled one, and I was able to get it to build a little bit more than it makes, but out some bullshit cryptic error that didn't address what was actually the problem. Like, don't have time to dig into this afternoon. Runs and wine, kids, because that's the most stable ABI available on Linux.
Go figure.
Out of the box, I downloaded the binary. Just I was like, this would be fucking, there it is. Just vanilla wine. OpenGL, yep, that works too. And so if you want to play it and the controller picked up, that's probably the way to do it.
Or if you do manage to get it building under Linux, send us some build instructions. Send us some hate mail with like the script that you use to run that.
And we're old enough to, it doesn't matter. I mean, just give us the names, man. We can adapt. We grew up in the dark times.
Yeah, so I can figure out how to translate Google or Debian packages to Fedora.
Same, vice versa, right?
If it's already using the Doom Classic engine, why not just provide the WAD? And then provide the WAD, then people could use whatever source port they want to use, like GZ Doom or Chocolate Doom.
They're going to do it, but they're only going to release DAWs.
if they need to make a cheesy Doom, they just need to make Doom but with like cows and cheese. They made corn Doom already. You can run it on John Deere.
Well, I was about to say that would be a lot more Doom-esque if you were driving over cows in that version.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it. Coming up next, Strider is always complaining about us reviewing Amiga games. So here's an Amiga game that we're going to throw chairs at.
True story. All right.
Bathroom time for me.
All right. Okay, Chair, I want you to listen to me.
Okay, fine. 2 WADs.
All the WADs, man.
Also, Mir, as to your point earlier, you're the one who brought up DOS. I said Windows games.
I need to check game. I need video. I want to do that.
Yeah, no, without any audio, that turned out to be a really, really small video.
I know I did. Oh, I deleted it too, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Hey, man, this is me in a downloads folder. I see things, I just delete them, even if I just downloaded them. Let's download that again. It's 278 megs. That will take seconds.
Yeah, no, this is very tiny, as it turns out. Even despite the, because when I was trying to figure out what engine this was using, all of the backgrounds are Autodesk animation videos. FLCs or something like that.
What is this? I just assumed it was Unity. It felt like Unity.
It is not Unity. It is a... There's SDL 1.2 libraries in the libs folder, but the ELF is not linked against them. It's not linked against any SDL libraries for that matter. So if they're already statically linked in the executable, I don't know why they included them too, but they're there.
Maybe this is like Boonity?
I couldn't figure it out. I know the developer was, because someone asked if they were using an engine or if they did their own, and they said, we did our own. It's not really an engine. It's mostly just C. Okay. Did you call it something? No? Okay.
That answers a lot of questions. It does. Stay tuned. You get any good show titles yet? I'm gonna take a look.
We've had, there we go, Godot.
Dwarf Order. All right.
Good pun there with the arm and MAME Strider.
Oh, man. There's this piece I was talking about in the pre-presentation of used gear. I think I talked about it on live show. You know, that gem from Guitar Center. Here's the problem with it. A, it's blue. We've been over this. Not a fan of that. Not a fan of it. B, I don't want to become that motherfucker that does everything like the hipster analog gear in the rack. Because I don't want to become a hypocrite. And I love riffing on those people.
But maybe, just maybe, you might change your opinion and see that there was some...
No, it's needless failure. This thing's just cool. All right, the only piece of analog gear that there is no way, to the best of my knowledge, to replicate is Mr. Compeller Pants back here. Like, that is like shooting myself in the third dick, having it wired in. Like, I had to break outside of the box and go analog to that, and then you got to deal with gain staging. Fortunately, I got this wicked expensive fucking RME thing, which is like, oh, yeah, 20 plus 24 dBu, I can take that. Click. All right, fine. No, man. And like, I understand if you get a bunch of analog gear. You like turning knobs and shit. It's just the argument of like, no, you can't do it with plugins. Like that argument's 20 plus years out of date. Windows games around that time. What time?
90, late 90s, early 2Ks, between Windows 95 and Windows XP.
Windows 2K.
What were you losers doing playing on Windows?
Being a loser, obviously.
Clearly.
Mostly not having my own computer and not knowing any better.
I was playing Unreal, Doom, Quake. You see, this is like a whole new level. Like, why would you ever want to replicate such a dog shit experience? Like, for nostalgia, that's where I smack you right there.
Well, nostalgia, so you can experience and go, oh yeah, it's better now.
Yeah, well, there's something to be said for preservation. There's a lot of games that require 8-bit color display.
There's a lot to be said for memory holding things, too. Let's just pretend it didn't happen.
How about, the option is there if you do want to revisit it, but if you don't, then you don't. It's fine. I'm kind of with Strider on the whole preservation thing. Yes, it should absolutely be there if people want to do it. If they don't want to, do whatever you want.
Take a picture. Move on.
Be there in its original state and let people see the original thing. Or as accurately as possible.
Oh shit, we got a new Game of Thrones tomorrow.
Yeah.
I thought it was like in a couple of weeks.
Dr. Dragon Tap. Well, it's almost the end of the month, man.
Yeah. Jeez,
Yeah.
fuck. God
Found that
damn
out.
it.
I knew that. I got the email. I was like, here's your power bill. This is the only email I ever get on a regular basis where I'm like, okay. I like that so much of our preservation requires electricity or depends on electricity.
Well, I mean, that's what software preservation is. There's no real way to
Yeah, I know.
preserve it otherwise.
It's like preservation.
Yes.
Do they, who was it they were making? It was a CDR that effectively etched in a stone-like, material.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Sounds interesting. MDisk, according to Mirror. Yep, store documents for 1,000 years from IBM.
There's some preservation for you.
Now, in 1,000 years, will they have all the information necessary to decode that information? Otherwise, is it just a bunch of bits and they're going to be like, oh yeah, this is just a bunch of random ones and zeros. These fucking people were dumb.
I listened to a talk from a guy who like backtracked it of like, what do you do if you run into a compact disc? And he's like, this is logically laid out. Yeah, you could figure this out.
Okay.
From the table of contents and looking at how the data was structured. He's like, if you have a microscope, you could figure this out.
Okay.
Look at the index.
But still, like the musical codec or whatever, like that actually like the data is represented by. Like I don't know how much luck you would have like reverse engineering that from scratch.
I think a lot of it would hinge on like finding the equivalent of a Rosetta Stone.
Yeah.
That's a specification, right? So if they could find these specifications,
but Pedro, this is like in 1,000 years after the bombs have fell, right? Like,
Yeah.
the internet is down. You can't have,
yeah.
Looking
These
for
are
a
the
VA.
aliens showing up like years later to like pick through the ruins, right?
unless they manage to find a working computer of some like survivalist nut that locked himself and the computer in a bunker and had a local copy of most of Wikipedia.
Well, here's the other problem.
I
we
mean-
don't know if silicon is going to last a millennia.
Yeah. Alan,
just don't.
paper is definitely not.
Yeah, paper doesn't.
Yeah, so those manuals are going to rot away.
Depending on preservation, because we have multi-thousand-year-old documentation.
Yeah, but and they need to be like vacuum sealed and like specially taken care of. Right?
Yeah.
Like humidity controlled, no open air, nothing. Yes.
I don't know. Like, I mean, there's something to be said for hard copy. Like, if you're trying to keep something around for a long time.
Yeah, literally etch it in stone. That's
Yeah.
I mean, the write
Turns-
speed sucks, but
yeah. Like you brought up the
read speed
Rosetta
is as
Stone.
fast as you
Like,
can go.
Rosetta Stone was literally the only way we could translate ancient Egyptian. Otherwise, we were fucked. Someone carved it on a rock.
I mean, so, silicon, plastic doesn't really degrade.
Bullshit.
Yeah,
It does, but
not
it
true.
I got
it
some
takes a lot
plastic-
longer.
Yeah,
than
that's like 20 years old. That's just turned to goo.
I mean, like, CDs are what, rated for
rubber.
100 years?
Yes.
Thinking about plastic knobs, man. They become brittle, fall off, snap.
Yeah, man.
And plastic's not a long-term solution to fuck all. Again, we get back to stone. Give me a good stone vase. Probably still going to be a stone vase in a
Yeah.
couple of millennia.
Some carvings on the inside of a pyramid wall. Yeah, shit.
Stargate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Built to last, man. We need Naquita.
We don't have any Naquita, though. Shit.
Wouldn't that suck? Like to fucking find one and be like, insert Naquita here.
Yeah,
Fuckers.
it's like, I need a DHD. Fuck. Now, the question is: A, do I know the coordinates for home? And B, I hope there isn't an iris on the other side of whatever coordinates I do brute force.
It's the equivalent of like
or-
dial these chevrons for a good time.
Yeah, or like you fucking end up like Ernest, right? Where he's just trapped on a planet for like 80 years.
Yeah. Depends on how antisocial you were to begin with.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get the timer is good. Timer good. Timer good. Timer good. All right. I'm probably gonna fuck up the button presses on this pretty hard.
What's our order of operations?
I'll go Pedro, you, and me. I'll go last because
Okay, first.
I need to shut up the most to work on the layout.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, record. Press
For a
down.
good time, dial these chevrons.
I mean,
It's just fucking Teal'c on the other side waiting. Indeed.
oh man. In 3.
Welcome back to the Chairquisition, where your kung fu is weak, my kung fu is weak, Pedro's is okay. This week we're taking a look at Kung Fu Ursan, developed by CMC Games, done on a custom engine. You can pick it up for about $3. What is it? Kung Fu Ursan is a 2D retro pixel side-scrolling beat-em-up inspired by classic games and martial arts films. But you might be asking, what is this? Oh, my hood's not up. The thing that you are watching, I need to cover my head in front of God because it's the Holy Chairquisition, where we take a game, run it on a bunch of different Linux distributions with some fairly different hardware, and then give you a holy score, the Kung Fu Master of one chair, meaning that it's garbage, and the Kung Fu Legend of 4 chairs means that it's amazing. So we got to thank CMC Games for sending us a key to this over Curator Connect. Let's get into the review proper. Pedro, how strong is your Kung Fu?
Not very, apparently. If you're watching the video version, you can see it happening in real time, sort of. Over here on the Ryzen 7 3700X and the not the GTX 1080 anymore, the RX 6700 XT. It was a bit of a shit show to get it to launch. It full screened into the wrong monitor at the wrong resolution, so I kind of had to feel my way around to put it into a window and then expand the window to be able to see the options and set the resolution properly. I think Kung Fu Ursan knows the score that I'm going to give it because it keeps beeping aggressively at me twice whenever it starts, and whenever you change a setting, it beeps again. That shitty little dance that I had to do, I had to hear those 2 fucking beeps every single time it restarted. I don't think I ever fully muted a game for the chairs, but here we are. I just went into Pavu Control and just muted the game stream there. I didn't have to listen to it anymore. VSync is a lie. There's an option in the menu for VSync that it's always capped at 60 regardless, and I can tell you why that's a bad idea when you have a Steam Deck that, allows you to cut the refresh rate in half to save battery. Well, it manages to be even worse because if you try to play it on a Steam Deck and you have the screen set to 40 hertz or 60, but then you're capping it at 30, the game doesn't even start. It's just a black screen. So, it's bad. If you enable Steam Input and you're using a DualShock or a DualSense, the controller rumbles for a solid 30 seconds nonstop at full blast. It is kind of insane. It's great if you're trying to get yourself off, but if you're trying to play the game, then it's not so good. And in its efforts to have low latency and lag compensation, those are all options in the menu. It sometimes seems to have some rubber banding with the movement. That's not a good thing in a beat 'em up that is as unforgiving as this. It's not a good game not a good thing in any game, but it's especially bad here. It also has SDL 1.2 libraries in the folders, but running LDD on the ELF doesn't show them as being linked, so I don't know what the hell's up with that. So, is it fun? No. Honestly, I don't think I've ever played a game that's as hostile to players as this one. Yes, the old games that this took inspiration from were pretty bad too, but at the time, no one knew any better. Now they do. No matter where I look, I can't find a single redeeming feature. The movement is sticky, it rubber bands the physics. It takes for fucking ever to move between screens. I don't even mind difficulty. Just let me restart so I can try again quickly. Congratulations. This better have been deliberate, because if it wasn't, goddamn. One chair.
All right. Well, on Fedora 3564-bit with the R9 3900X and the GTX 1080 Ti. Beep! Well, the resolution settings are completely fucked to start off with. I had to guess my way into the options menu to set windowed mode so I could drag the window over. Because what it did is it tried to do like the 7840 by or whatever the 8K width is by 2160, but it only spawned on the rightmost monitor, so I only got half a screen. So yeah, once you get into windowed mode, you can drag it to the middle of the screen where you can select your actual resolution, which brings me back to beep. And then I went to check out the controls, which are sanely mapped. They have options for Xbox, Switch, DualShock, and basic controls. And then you set them up and beep. Once you get into the game, though, the controls are simple, but goddamn, there is a real delay between when you press the button and the actual move, which sucks because once your timing is fucked up, you just end up eating every enemy on screen. Fun-wise, I brought this up before. One of the chief complaints I hear from Striders that we only review Amiga games where, well, here's an actual one. And it definitely feels like I'm playing on an Amiga. And I gotta agree with Pedro here. This sort of game was produced simply because of limitations of the era. And people look on these games back fondly because of nostalgia. But here's the thing, though. As computers got better, we could add things like responsive controls and the ability to change settings without having your ears fucked. And really, having finished stuff like Shredder's Revenge and Streets of Rage before that, this game feels like such a regression in comparison. If you really want to play something like Black Belt or Karateka, you can do that in a browser. Archive.org has like Commodore emulators that run. But the gameplay here is just so piss poor unfortunate. It's difficult not just because of like the shitty enemy placement, but also because the game just doesn't want you to play it in the way that you think you want to. I think maybe this game would have been a little better if it kept the retro aesthetic, but actually worked to modernize the gameplay to make it like buttery smooth and really, really good. But they didn't, and so I gotta give this one chair.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, what you've been waiting for, me to remember to cut on the blam clock. Haha. So check this out. Over here in Debian 11 with the 3060, I'm a little thread pooper. You know what we didn't have back in the C64 days, ladies and gentlemen? Our headphones plugged into the fuck mothering tape deck when it was loading a game. However, this game thinks you do, because as Pedro pointed out, that's what you're first greeted with. Ear-piercing, which made me jerk around looking at the audio rack. I'm like, is something wrong? No. Oh, it was the game. I got to go through that some more. Yeah, I had to go through that a lot more. I did. Because, man, let me just say this. I would have refunded the game right then. If I picked this up, I bought this, it hit me with that blast. That's how bad and sharp it is within 10 seconds. Like, fuck this. But I should say the first 4 minutes, not the first 10 seconds, 4 minutes and 10 seconds. That's how long it took me to get into the game proper. Kung Fu Ursen started right up on my center monitor, which is in portrait mode, which meant it displayed nothing. Nada. Force close it was. I edited the INI, How retro, right? To full screen off, and it launched in the far left monitor, but I was at least able to drag it to the far right monitor, the one set as the primary display. All right, that works. So my first impressions of Kung Fu Ursan was being sonically attacked and having to crack open an INI file in 2022. Now, the Xbox One X Get Tricky With It controller did work, but the input, it was delayed. It felt sloppy. I tapped that Proton button. I mean, it was bad enough to do that, to hit Proton. It's like, maybe there's something just wrong with the Linux version. Same thing. Yikes. Then I noticed some legit slowdown. You can even see this in the game. Like, I hope that was built in intentionally. You know, all the while getting my arse just handed to me by that first boss. I cracked open H-Top. Kung Fu Ursan had one of my 24 threads just pegged at 100% and fuck all out. So maybe it wasn't intentional. Who knows? I don't. But let's talk about the fun. I would much rather be playing Kung Fu Master or ER Kung Fu on the C64. You know, my challenge for today was trying to beat the first boss, Mr. Wheelie Boss Man #1. I gave up. No, I ran out of cares and gave up. Same thing. Maybe my button mashing and or age, maybe it's failing me, guys. Maybe it is, but that dude was like a brick wall. Something along the lines of like maybe a tutorial, a welcome. Yeah, that'd be a very welcome addition. It would be for those of us that are not you, the developer. Because I had to like, oh, jump, that's jump. Can I do a crouch high jump? Oh, that's the thing. Maybe that's the thing. It could just be the controls in general are bad. Okay. In theory, I could probably adapt to the control scheme given enough time. But why would I want to do that to myself? Why would anyone? You know, I grew up playing these games, man, that you're trying to ape in the 80s. And there were plenty of terabad kung fu fighting games to be had. This is like a modernized version of them. But I want to close with something nice. I do. Pixel art's a bit of all right. I liked it. I've seen a lot worse from a lot more expensive games. Kudos on that. To kind of say what Jordan said, it looks all right. I just wish there were some modern game mechanics sitting behind it. But yeah, you can pass right over this one, ladies and gentlemen, because I just wasn't feeling it. Well, one chair.
Kung Fu or nope.
I did. I was talking about that. Might have been in the pre-show, the pre-pre-super show. This got me going down a rabbit hole. I'm like, were they really this bad? I'm like, no, they weren't. They weren't. They were fast. They were snappy, unless you were intentionally looking for things that just controlled very bad. And that is what really killed this for me, was the control was really bad. It was slow. It was sloppy. It didn't feel right at all. Like I was moving in molasses.
Mm-hmm. And then you get that slowdown, and then the game sort of tries to catch up, and everything moves a little bit quicker. It's like, that throws you off. That throws the timing completely off of the whole thing. Please, dear developer, don't let this discourage you, but next time, pick a different genre to make a game in. Don't do this.
There's
maybe try Pitfall instead of Kung Fu.
Something that doesn't expect fast, fighty motion. And yeah, I mean, it is 2022. You don't get a pass on this kind of stuff just because you put out a Linux version. Like, there's that. I mean, thanks for it. This is our honest thoughts about it. If anybody was ever wondering, like, do you guys just throw? No, we don't.
Yeah.
No freebie for that. Jordan, what do we got up next?
Coming up next, nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition, except maybe the Spanish. Also, some people use Arch. I just wanted to let you guys know that.
Arch. And scene. One thing I did learn on the C64 version of Kung Fu, I think that was also in the NES, but you didn't have this option if you in the C64. You know, the one that the pots and the snakes.
Yeah,
you know, Kung Fu Master. If you hold down Shift and G, you pull out a fucking gun.
What?
Yeah.
That's funny. Does it actually shoot?
Let me see if I can pull it up. I did not know that. I was today years old. Kung Fu Master's got a gun. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
the less popular sequel to Janie's Got a Gun.
Yep.
Guns.
Summer Games, World Games, California Games, Games. Where's it at? Kung Fu
Kung
Master.
Fu Master.
All right. Okay, are you going to do the thing? Yep, hold down shift. Wait. There it is. All right.
That's some Indiana
Shift and
Jones
G.
shit.
Boom.
Yeah. Pulls out the sword. Blam.
There we go. I had no idea. I had that game too. A little irritated about it.
That's cheating a little bit,
A little
bit.
All right. We got that. Yeah.
Is that Steven Seagal?
That's
Was Steven Seagal ever thin?
he was briefly.
What?
I mean, it's like how what Metal Gear is literally plagiarizing the poster from Terminator.
Has anybody else watched Prey yet?
No, still have it checked out.
Somebody really laid it down kind of directly. It was like, it was very fortunate that she ran into a sexist predator. That will make sense once you watch the movie.
All right.
Okay.
I mean, so I like what I was gonna say. It's inspired by Steven Seagal, but they're like, we don't want to pay this guy likeness rights. He kind of looks like Jason Momoa a little bit in that
That looks
picture.
like generic. It's like, okay, give me Seagal with a bit of Schwartz and generic up something. Yeah, like if I saw his face on the front, like holding a fucking sword in a fantasy novel book made through the entirety of the 80s.
Yes.
Yeah, that guy. I'm sure there's some Rolodex with like fantasy barbarian sword guy. Yeah, there we go. Call him.
It's called the Boris Vallejo collection.
All right.
Him and friends Frazetta, all those like shirtless guy on top of a mountain with like the greased up lady next to him. They did all those paintings.
Okay. Were they based on a true story?
Yeah, they're all autobiographical paintings of Franz Frazetta.
Ah, yes, the extremely muscular people. Yes.
Ooh. Seagal? I mean, you know, I wouldn't describe him as muscular.
No, I'm looking at the Boris Vallejo paintings.
Yeah, you know, like, I mean, there's definitely like the classic of, you know, one.
Yeah. I think he actually did that one.
It wouldn't surprise me with the people behind Aquitaine to go to cut deep like that. Yeah.
Neil played the drum solo of Resurrection.
I'm curious. I watched that little short that they did within the space station. Oh, I'm like, all right, we'll see where it goes. Isn't Rick and Morty about to come back on? Like
Soon,
tomorrow?
yeah, sometime in August.
Running out of August.
There's a week
Right.
left.
Oh, sorry, September 4th. My bad.
God damn it. All right.
Extremely muscular people with not a lot of clothing. That's the
Yeah, the Man of War cover.
This is why I always take issue with like the more despotic, like just really nasty, crunchy times, like post. I want body armor, man. I don't care what it is. If I got to tape some trees and shit to me, I could be running around in a loincloth.
There's
anime. It's like anime rules. The less it covers, the higher the armor rating.
there's a perk in Savage Worlds that lets you do that, where it's like you have to spec into it, but like the more naked you are, the like more comparatively your like defense increases. It's like nudity makes you stronger on this planet,
where your wisdom modifier adds directly to your AC.
Yep. All right. Yeah. Let me get something to drink, and we will go do some hate mail. We're gonna play Back for Brad.
Yeah.
We're gonna continue Jordan's Campaign.
Yes.
Yes. Which, thanks to Katana Steel, we are slightly not stuck where we were.
Yes. After he played hooky at work, it's like. See, that's the real trick, is you gotta suck bad enough that someone in your audience just stops their important job to like get online and carry you.
See, all these motherfuckers you're listening, you suck at an amateur level.
Yes.
We're pros at this. We find our skills, but it will anger a person to stop working.
That was Rohit in Quake. He just fucking
Right.
showed up.
There's nothing like the disclaimer. If somebody shows up behind my camera and starts screaming at me, that's my boss. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, and but like the bonus soda is he's screaming at you about like how you're shit at Quake and that he can do better. He's like, "You're fired. Get out of here. Let me take him."
No, it's the whole
not how you
get
rocket
up,
jump.
I'll do it myself.
Oh no, that would have been more hilarious if it was like, what the fuck is this? This isn't real Quake. Who made this bullshit?
Yeah, right.
All right. Quad damage. Yeah. You know what? Quad damage is bullshit. Everyone wants it. You don't know what to do when you get it because no one's around you. Like,
Yeah, everyone
You only find the
avoids
quad
you.
damage when you've already killed everything.
you're down to like a fucking like pea shooter, or
Yeah, you're down to the saw. Yeah.
no one's around. Like, yeah, it doesn't play out like it does in your dream.
Or you get it, and then like the minute you find someone, you have like 5 seconds of it, so you get one shot off, and it doesn't kill him, and then it runs out.
Oh, right.
Fuck.
It's not as satisfying as Quake 3 Arena, that jump map with a fucking railgun out in the space. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There's thrill and exhilaration to one-shotting motherfuckers coming for you.
Yes. Well, it's the risk, right? Because like you got to go over there to get the good gun,
right? And you got to stay next to that boost pad because you might have to get the fuck out of there if somebody lands.
Yeah, and
the rockets that are just perpetually.
You're constantly being pelted with rockets and plasma and everything else.
Yes. And if you want to go, you have that moment of vulnerability where you get launched, and you're like, well, it's all up to Jesus.
How good am I taking out someone with the railgun while being boosted across the
How
map?
satisfying is it being the conqueror, landing, turning around, and capping the motherfucker getting away?
Yeah.
Boop. Like, ooh, love that sound.
That Quake level design is very much embodies game theory, and the like,
oh man,
oh yeah, you can go do this, but then everyone else is gonna fucking come after you.
But then you're isolated and you're everyone else's target.
It could be Quake 3 Arena had some. I mean, Quake 2 had some memorable maps, but Quake 3, a lot of you probably weren't around. Like, there was a bunch of like detractors for Quake 3 when it was in testing about how it was going to fucking fail completely, and they were dead serious about it. And it wasn't like little. I mean, we're talking like IGN and places like what passed for reputable back then. Why? Because it dared to be an online-only game. I mean, you had some bots you could fuck around with, but there was no plot. There was no mission.
It wasn't a hard requirement. It was just the arena gameplay.
Yeah, the only way to fucking experience it correctly air quotes, was to have an online connection, and no one was buying into that at the time. It's like, it'll never work.
And
No.
it's funny how we've kind of like done a 180 where like all the AAA publishers are like, oh, it has to be online only all the time. You can't have single player games.
Despite being completely single player, not needing to be online, but no, you got to have always online for that microtransaction money. Yes.
Ubisoft. We're all thinking Ubisoft. That's media where everyone's brain goes. Like,
Ubisoft, EA.
EA is really bad with the microtransactions. Like full $70 game.
EA is just bad with the always on.
Dude,
DRM.
I had a laugh because in the same week I watched the What If Dark Souls was made by Ubisoft, and it had the menu with all the pop-up things. And then I'd cracked open not an Assassin's Creed game, but like what are the Far Cry, whatever it was from Ubisoft, and it just started doing that shit, like no joking around. I'm like, God damn, this is real. Like, spot on.
Yeah, they have, that's the thing. When you have to release a new Assassin's Creed game every year, just copy paste the system over, man.
They still haven't put fucking Vikings on Steam yet, have they?
I don't think they're doing any of the new ones on Steam, are they? For you play.
Have fun. I'm not ever going to play it, but
I mean, I can give you my login for my copy for Uplay if you want to try it out.
Out of principle, like I'm not.
All right.
Yeah, I appreciate that, but no.
No. Like,
I boycott Ubisoft until it's like some random Assassin's Creed game that's like $1.99. I'm like,
yeah, I'm gonna hold out on Valhalla until like I swap out this 1080 because DX12 is still real rough on Pascal.
DX12 kicked in. It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's Pascal and DX12. Elden Ring. Elden Ring was a perfect example. On with the 1080, I could do 60 FPS at 1600 by 900 on the medium to low-ish settings. With the RX 570, that's currently in Nori's PC, I could do 1080p, high settings, 60 FPS.
Yes.
Hang on.
I'll say that about
Strider. It counts the votes. Look at it. 11. The only thing that's broken is the vote number counter. It's still ranked according to how many people fucking vote on them. So go play in traffic. As I like to remind you.
And yes, you could always vote. You could always vote for all the show titles. Why you'd want to do that? But you could always do that.
Well, no, I mean, it's in
just
the
wanna
right-hand
participate.
corner. I mean, it's tabulated 11 votes, and I just watched it, like, jump up places. So I'm like, yeah, it's still working. The votes thing needs to be fixed, but you're welcome, Twitch Bridge. You got an extra vote accidentally from me. Can I retract that?
Nope.
I
No.
don't. There it is. Unvote item. Nope.
Nope.
Doesn't let you.
All right, drink, hate mail, back for blood, maybe the Twitch thing. I don't know. We'll find out.
Let's see. The last Ubisoft game, the most recent Ubisoft game I played was The Crew, because it came with 970.
Yeah, again, like a lot of like the Ubisoft Activision games, they just come with the hardware, right?
Yeah. It's like, oh, value add when you buy the graphics card. Okay.
That's where my copy of Witcher 3 came from.
Yeah, I bought this 6700 XT secondhand, so no free games for me.
Yeah, I wonder what I'm gonna get for free when I upgrade the old 1080. Probably gonna be like 300 bonus hours in Fortnite or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah, like 3,000 V-Bucks for Fortnite.
I was like, thanks. I like how that guy was like, oh, the Steam Deck is fucking shit. There's no native fucking Fortnite. It's like, you work for Epic, motherfucker.
It's like, there's no native, Fortnite doesn't work. What was the other one? Overwatch and
Destiny.
some other game. It's like,
It was Destiny.
you work for Epic. You could fix... Is being immune to that was my reply to him. Is being immune to irony a requirement for working for Epic? Because Tim Sweeney seems to be thoroughly immune to irony at this point.
It's just on every application. You need to, one of the chief skills is cognitive dissonance.
Yeah. Hell, Tim Sweeney blocked me on Twitter because I accused him of being completely immune to irony.
I mean, whatever. I guess that I'm not proud of being blocked by anyone because that requires me to engage with people who annoy me.
It wasn't even. I replied to someone else that was. Because he made the tweet about like underdogs and whatnot, and someone else pointed out, oh, you know, the underdog platform that you blatantly refuse to support. And then I said, yeah, no, there's not a shred of irony left in Tim. Blocked.
Talking about Sweeney?
Yeah.
I haven't DM'd with Sweeney in a while. Maybe I should light that back up. See what he's up to.
Yeah, it's like, as long as you have that Mateus on the podcast, I'm not coming on.
That's okay. If he's coming on, I can
Twitter
take that week off.
The last time Tim Sweeney DM'd me, he was on his plane. I shit you not.
Yeah.
I mean, he does make a shit ton of money, so there's that.
All right, everyone. Let me get to our exit music.
We got 2 hit mails today. Spicy.
Record. Let's all go to the lobby.
Don't talk, watch.
Linoleum knife. Yeah.
That was the greatest intro to fucking movie.
God damn. I mean, just thinking about that gives me an erection, man. I mean, goddamn. Like, that. We'll cut them up. Oh.
Yeah. If you talk during, if I find this movie on eBay, I'm going to come to your house and tear your wife in half.
Like, more of that.
Yeah, please.
Like, if I'm guaranteed part 2 of that, I will go see that in theater just for the experience because I didn't get to see the original. Yeah.
V-time.
I wanted to be around preferably unsuspecting people, but because, I mean, as soon as that came on, I was like, the fuck's up with this?
Don't pull your penis out unless you really need to. Indecent exposure is a class 2 felony. Okay.
All
Let's
right.
fucking do this.
In 3, 2.
I'm not going to tell you about my felonies. I don't know if I actually have one. But hey, no one needs to know about those.
In which country?
If you'd like to tell us about your felonies and you feel like sharing that particular detail, you probably shouldn't, but you can. You go to LinuxGameCast.com, you hit the contact button. There's a form you gotta fill. Just, maybe don't incriminate yourself in anything that you don't want the internet to know.
Don't pull your penis out unless you really need to.
You can pull your penis out as much as you want on the internet, as long as it's not,
Developers and publishers want us to review your game. We do the panel show. You see me people here. 3, I believe that you are responsible enough to do arithmetic. Come on the show. We'd love to talk to you about it. More on that later. Crowdfunding campaigns. Make sure you got a Linux build. Don't waste our damn time. Press releases. Send them to the email address listed. Email, subject, and tell us about your class for limiting or 5 or 6. Yeah.
That's 6.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing with Roman numbers. Yeah, you can 50-50 on that, man. You're like, no.
If it's before, it's 4. If it's after, it's 6.
I am 30 or 40 years old and I don't need to deal with this shit.
Close enough. Now, we need to talk about inquisitions. Like we had the week before last when we were joined by Dennis from
the open source achievement thing and also the game resurrection thing.
Remember the monkey game.
The monkey game.
Mojotron.
Mojotron.
Pray for
Mojotron.
Mojotron. Yeah,
All right.
this one comes from Kenji. And they say, the Spanish expect more inquisitions from you. It was very enjoyable. Much love. Kenji. Yeah. So.
Well, Genji. Did you bring that up? If anyone within the sound of my voice organ wants to try their hand at being a booker for us, call me. You want some alone time with Vin? We'll work something out because, you know, our booker, somebody goes out, finds guests, talks to people, does all the stuff that I don't have the time or patience to do, like playing email tag for a fucking month and trying to pin somebody down for an interview.
Well,
that makes me very upset because I value my time and I assume other people value their time as much as I value my time. And like, I would never jerk somebody around like that. And I've definitely tried to get other people on the show and we're talking like, oh, right. Yeah, I know that I said we could do that. We'd never get to the point where I'm like, hey guys, we're going to have whoever on the show, but this is legit to, you know what? Let's just do this at Tuesday at 11 a.m. I'm good for that time now. Like, fuck off. We're just done with the conversation. Like, I don't have time for this bullshit. But if you would like to have someone on the show, ask them. Be like, hey, LinuxGameCast. They want people to come on the show, talk about their open source projects, closed source projects. As long as it's got some Linux sprinkled on it or put in it, we're down to have that chat.
The video game requirement isn't even like a hard one. It'd be nice, but you know,
It could be game adjacent, man.
If you give us your game on like an Ubuntu ISO burned on a CD, like a literal platter, that counts.
Maybe, man. So here's the thing. We're very easy to get in touch with. I mean, there's no process for getting on the show. When we get that is on, it's like, yo, dude, come on the show. Send an email. Like, yeah, good. That's it. And just reply back. And it's probably very criminal. And I feel bad because we have, as far as any podcasts that I know or live streaming, so like far as our system to get people in and to have a real time interaction, like conversation at high quality without like doing the Skype talk bullshit, talking over each other, looking like a smearophone mess and with like echo cancellation and all that nastiness. We should take advantage of that more, but we need some help. You know, call me. You know what? Call Pedro too.
See, I don't want to be the middleman. I'm already the middleman at work and I hate it. Part of the reason why I'm looking for another job.
Pedro has experience. I'm like,
yes, I have experience and I don't want to fucking do it.
I mean, that's your default for everything though, man. Come on.
I am lazy. Yes, I realize that is perhaps my biggest flaw. The second one is being a complete asshole. I'm aware.
What's up next?
Up next, we
next
got
is,
something from Fortato. They're talking about Arch Linux. They say that the glibc/EAC issue is really disappointing. I thought us archers would only go a whole year without Steam breaking updates, but here we are. The only rolling distro unaffected by this is Solus, I believe.
Solus and they're Endeavorous, which they are deliberately
Suze Tumbleweed.
A few versions behind, and I guess if we're including non-official distributions like Rolling Rhino, the Ubuntu Rolling Rhino. Thank you very much for that, Wimpy. That's actually a very nice, very well done. That's very good.
Do you think Fred Durst uses Rolling Rhino?
Because it keeps rolling.
Hey, man, sometimes it feels like it's going to be one of those days, man. He's just got to... Yeah, I look forward to the next email. Like, it never affected Arch. This is, you're smearing Arch. This is not a problem. Never happened. Because trust me, I've run into the people's like, Arch never breaks. That's old information. That's like,
I mean, this originated in the Arch forums and then spilled over to the Proton GitHub.
No. It's fun.
Turns out they were secretly running Mint.
You're working for Big Not Arch.
Big Narch.
Narchin.
Big Narch.
You're a Narch.
Don't Narch on me, man. You told me you weren't a Narch, man. I trusted you.
It's just pure Narch, man. Pedro's 100% Narch.
Narch is there.
Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't get any weirder than that, so might as well. Cue the music. You can always get a hold to us each and every Saturday night, kicking off at 7:30 if you're a patron. Hop in if you're Death Note or above to our pre-super chosen, but we'll put that up for free a week later
if you want to watch that. That's going to be brilliant. 8:30 back here on Twitch, Eastern Standard Time. We got a schedule thing over at Twitch. Look it up. I have faith. And if you want to get in touch with me, at Vince Stone on Twitter, that's where I'm there doing the things, clicking on things. Probably not going to have a long, drawn-out conversation. But if you want to do that, pop in our Discord, pop in our IRC, or pop in Twitch during the breaks, and we'll be happy to have that chat. Up next, this one, Jordan Swan.
I'm Nadrod. Shit, it's the other way around. You can find me on Twitter at The Burning Fool or twitch.tv/BurningFool.
You know, I never actually thought how to pronounce my name backwards, but it doesn't matter. No one really likes to pronounce my name around here.
Oh, no.
Do it wrong. But yeah, no, at unaccounted for on Twitter, that's FOUR, because someone already had the number 4, and they're just squatting there. That still pisses me off. But yeah, Twitter is nice. Shoot an @ on IRC, because it'll ping on Discord. It's fine. Yeah.
6 years ago, I bought that Twitter account from the dude.
How much?
Squatting.
$5.
That's not bad. Hey, Pedro, that's how much it takes to free yourself. $5.
Time for some credits.
I mean, if SCO is to be believed, absolutely.
Oh, man, shit. You mean all this time we didn't have our SCO license?
No.
Or our Star Wars license?
I wonder if I can find one online.
We got to thank our advisors, Omegas and Artherin. Or I think it's just Artherin these days. Omegas is there. Executive producers, LDS, our Barbram, Scott, Mistrode, Atomic Ass, Mike G, Mike T, Drummer, Kohaku, George, Pebble, Tomas Janunoid, and our Little Nicky fans. Abstraction. Just Abstraction. Nixon's Pyramid.
And Sea Monsters, we have Renault, Rider X Machina, Trudgy, Veritanuda, Justin Frostclaw, Nubbin, David Darkwing, and System T. With Death Notes, Nova K, Basil, Chad, Romeo, Morrison, Renee, Leonardo, Kresny, Kim, Smashley, Chris, Stephen Jill, Benjamin, Doom 2.wad, Stephen, Dirty Dean, Back, Gameatron, Dodgers, Etheris Gaming, Rue, Turnover, Cheesy Bacon, Kaiser A, Stein.
Let me throw some loves to our chairlings like Linux Nero, Mr. Alert, hanging out in chat, Ayrton, Mir,
Prezo.
Who else is here? Danielle, Oil of Hope, Jim, Alex, -9,
Steve,
Philo.
the other Steve.
Sacred Egg was in Discord earlier in the
And
week.
of course, Strider's here, as always.
And Live It.
Mike, Arthurian, Linux Nero, Aldius, Noctilus, John, Eshep, and Gamatron helping us sing with the nonsense in the studio. You will forever be shamed on the fine upstanding cannibals. But until next week, ladies and gentlemen, die to fire. Or don't be a narc. Wait, what do we do?
Don't be an arch.
Be an arch.
No narch. More arch, less narch.
Be an arch.
Makes me want to play Quake. I fear no man, but he is no man. That is not a man. I'm just thinking about the remember the animated shorts Valve made?
Yeah.
Meet the Pyro.
Yeah, it was like bunny rabbits and green.
He is no man.
Body like you. Oh, man. Yeah. Of course, that's what's going on in his brain. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Oh man. Save.
Shave.
Yeah, I think at a principle, I'm not going to get a buy 4 NVMe drive.
I'm going to get the best performing one that I can pay less than $100 for.
That's the thing. The buy 3 drives are so cheap now.
Yeah.
Like the good
They are.
ones. Yeah.
Like that on my wish list, I have the Crucial, the 2 terabyte one. It's like 120 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
If I hadn't just spent 350 on plane tickets to Portugal,
How did you manage to spend 350 for plane tickets?
being very, very conservative on literally everything else.
That's like how much plane tickets cost, though, right?
How much is Ryanair charging to pop over to Porto?
It's summer. It's a coastal country that's very, very popular during the summer. It's high.
There's a number coming at the end of this, so stick with them.
it's basically during summertime. It is the most expensive. If you want to go for cheap, 50-ish pounds per ticket, you're looking at October, November.
So like, wait a month.
2. And Nori will probably be busy at that time because she's thinking about the master's degree, so that's going to be happening. So yeah, we had a very short window here, so that's why I'll be gone for the next 3 shows. Don't worry, there will be an MT and a Sandy, and then you'll have a 2-person show at the end.
Yeah, it's going to be a different kind of empty.
Yes.
Tomorrow's going to be great.
Rob Zombie and Mudvayne.
Ah, man. What is it? Are they doing like a Rockin' with the Oldies?
Wait,
Static X and Power Man 5000 at the end.
How is Static X still a thing? Wayne Static is dead.
They just a guy
They got
wears
a
a
new
wig. Yeah.
Really?
Probably. Like how? I mean, I can scream Wisconsin Death Trip. I mean,
yeah, but like it's named after the guy, right? So.
Exhibit A, ladies and gentlemen, AC/DC.
Yeah.
Did I do a 2-4 shot? Yeah, I did. I got all my buttons on one page now.
All right, so apparently there's a guy named XC0 who's the lead vocalist for Static X.
Is he related to Elon Musk?
Maybe. I mean, what? Musk's dad is like 90 something, and he's still pumping out kids
Probably.
with like people he adopted, which is real creepy.
I don't know. I've gotten to the point where like internet facts on Musk. Whoa. All right, that was that checking. Static Act. That just looks like he's playing Jigsaw. That's one thing I forgot about on the internet and I ran back across this week was Jigsaw as a roommate. It's a great video from like 7 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Still holds up. I got a feeling we're going to scare the bejesus out of Green Coyote.
Back for Blood.
Okay, I see what the deal is. They actually had a dude in a Wayne Static mask singing the Static X songs. Okay.
Maybe he was lip syncing.
Maybe.
Behind the mask.
You never know.
Right? I guarantee you there will be people at the concert that have no idea that anything ever happened. They're like, oh, that was the Static X guy. All right, everyone. We're going to kick over to after shows. So if you're listening to the audio version, that's where you want to be.
That's very loud, Back for Blood. That's very loud.
I should start that up, shouldn't I?
Nah, mayhaps.
Back, considering it's my save.
Yeah. I mean,
Shh.
Let's go to the audio and bring that shit down.
Let's all go to the lobby.
And then restart, because apparently it has an update. That's...
yeah, I launched it when I got everything on.
It's gonna do one of those. Okay. There's gonna be some Eco the Dolphin.
Yeah, I don't know.
just disable voice chat in game. There, no echo.
Oh, that's stuck in my head.
Nice.
Shadow Zone.
There we go.
I hear a foxy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hear a foxy.
Yay!
Can you
No.
hear the fucks tonight?
Yes.
Hey, I'm online. Now I got to do the thing where I do the stuff. Do I have an After Games on? No, I don't, do I? I am not getting a bigger Steam Deck. Fuck you. This one's already beyond ridiculousness. Party invite. Give me a minute, bro. Bruh.
I'm just inviting everyone.
Bruh. Give me a minute, bruh.
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 Loading.
Bruh. Oh, bruh.
Quit being a narch.
No, man, I gotta. You can't be installing other Linuxes while I'm around.
Except, maybe if I can. Yeah. Are we friends now? Maybe.
Join.
Then join the game.
Drop the beat.
Joining.
All right. I'm gonna do the Alt Tab thing, and let's game audio. Jack Sing, look at you, Back for Blood. You're being like, you think correct?
What? Being behaving?
Record. Debatable. Behaving is a strong
I can
word.
see her outline, Jordan.
What are you doing, Jordan?
He's trying to be sneaky. No, buzz, piss off, Jordan.
Sneaky, sneaky.
Where's Snack? God damn it. You missed, by the way. Snack.
Ow, 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 ow.
That was not very solid of you.
These are more fun. Yeah, there we go.
You can light yourself on fire, but it does not hurt.
I was ridden.
Run away.
It was awesome.
Super fucking runaway.
All right.
Oh yeah, getting some herkies and some jerkies.
Yeah, I'm
Oh, yeah.
just kind of letting it do its thing before we get going.
Oh yeah.
Thump.
I was already on fire.
Well, you were standing there until you ran.
Yes.
I was just standing there.
Sir, it
Tom
looks like
Cruise
you're
locked
wearing
himself
a
in the closet.
non-ironic. You're wearing a toque, non-ironically. What are you writing?
Well, this does look like a bit of a chilly space. What is
Did I
this?
stand on your head? What if I say please? No?
What if I say, please, mommy?
Nearly.
Oh,
Ah,
I don't want to stand on your head anyway. Isn't that the a proper response? I'm like,
no. Can't. He's got a dome head. He's got a
got a
collision
dome
dome
head?
on him.
dude,
He's got a collision dome.
yeah, too powerful.
Yep. It's too powerful. He's got a magnet in his head.
Would you seriously be wasting electricity lighting the fuck mothering flag?
Listen, they replaced
yes.
my brain with a bag of sand. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know.
But you have to admit, that is a wonderfully conditioned flag at the time.
I mean, they're real patriotic, don't you know?
Oh,
Shouldn't that have
say,
holes and rips in
can
it?
you
Oh.
die by the- I don't know the rest
It's made
of the
out of
words.
flagiantium.
Yeah.
It has that support bar that the flag on the moon has, because otherwise it would just go.
That flag's got a fucking mana bar, motherfucker.
I don't know about
Exactly.
a mana bar, but it has multiple HP bars.
It's exactly like a tank. It has a mana bar.
We all know the stripes are for good luck, but what are the stars for?
I don't know.
They're, they're for doing an extra special good job. You get a star.
This game's broken,
Gold
by the
star.
way. Turtle Rock. I could not get on anyone's head.
Yeah, they're all good.
How did this ever get out of early access?
I'm just looking at him. He's just shook his head at you. What the hell are you doing?
Because he's gloating.
What an asshole!
Dick? I just want to... No?
What's Jordan doing at
You're harassing the sleeping people now?
No, Jordan, stop. Stop. I have no intention to hurt you.
Whoa.
No, hang on. We've got a Patreon here.
Are you guys outside being all patriotic again?
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm channeling my inner American by opening fire.
Now I've got no Molotovs.
Oh, man, bullshit. I wanted to use the walkie-talkie and pick it up and start yakking motherfucker.
What? This isn't Indiana Jones, Ven. You can't just kill someone with a
hello.
walkie-talkie.
I don't know, man. My assault axe.
Oh, hello, big guy.
So you guys want to
It's
run
fun
through
watching
a level?
Foxy just get ragdolled.
Yeah, right? I don't even know what's going on out there. Well, he's red now, so I assume that's not conducive with alive.
No, it's not.
Would you fuck off, whatever you are? You missed. I didn't.
And I'm dead.
Why? Why? What did I do to you?
Nothing.
If everyone's wondering, we're waiting on Jordan.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
If we're ready to go, then we're ready to go. All right. Let's fucking go then. All right. Play. Campaign. Private campaign lobby. Yeah, continue run. Hey, we have 2 things left on there, apparently. So
Something's over there.
we might be able to finish in a reasonable amount of time if we don't suck.
You're funny.
I try.
Okay. Can't leave it hanging.
Blue Dog Hollow. Oh,
I'd get the fuck right through that out of that town. No, I'm like, nope, turn
Duh.
around.
Nope.
all right. Choose
Indie
a
Mom.
burn card.
Corruption cards. Can I do anything? I can just look at them, right? And this doesn't do anything. Right.
Card active.
Oh, right. God damn. What do I have a scope on a super shotgun?
Yeah. So